Yeah, the thing that sucks about trying to have sex with a stranger is that you have to go through this thing where it's like you gotta talk and you've gotta you've gotta come up with all this little stuff to talk about, work and music. What kind of music? Oh, what do you like to watch? But then eventually you're like, okay, now we can get into the thing because enough time has passed that if I make the first move, I won't look like a heathen.
The fruit. The brute and the fruit. The brute.
The fruit and the fruit.
Yeah, I do like this conversation.
All right,
Okay.
well, in here I'll cut it off.
Yeah, you can put that in the deep cuts release. But no, the best ones
sensitive material before that.
Yeah, we can cut that out. But then I'll come out of the shower, and then they'll be laying on the bed or sitting on the couch in their underwear.
Oh,
and then
no.
That's perfect.
Did you say anything to them before that, or did they just know?
No, it's just obvious that that's what is going to happen anyways. So then they just take that step of like, because it'd be weird if we're watching Netflix and they take off their pants. So that doesn't make any sense.
That wouldn't usually happen with women, right?
No. I mean, and I'm just trying to remember in the times of like someone where I'm like, oh yeah, I can come over, but I have to. Is it cool if I shower because I'm coming straight from work? And they'd be like, yeah, no problem. A lot of it's like, you get there and with the intention of smoking weed or something. So then you just go, hey, I'm gonna hop in the shower real quick, and they'll be like rolling a doobie or whatever. So then by the time you take a quick shower, you get out of there, then they've lit the joint and you're passing it back and forth, and then you just get into whatever conversation you're gonna have. But
yeah, I do. Usually, if I'm gonna shower at a stranger's house and then have sex with them later, there's usually like 15 or 20 minutes of the conversation stuff, and then me or the other guy will bring up like, oh yeah, so yeah, shower, cool, and then that gets over with.
So do you even ever actually get consent, or do you just?
Well, yeah, the consent. I'm there. But yeah.
Well, no, because it's agreed upon beforehand. Unless are you talking about the first time that it's going down?
Yeah.
You wouldn't shower at someone's house the first time it's going down.
What?
That's what I thought we were talking about.
No. Someone you've never hooked up with before. Yep. You go, can I come and shower at your house first?
But usually I phrase it in a way that's like, yeah, when they're like, come over after work.
See,
I'm like, no, I can't. I gotta take a shower.
I apologize. My end was thinking of it as someone who you've already had sex with, or there's someone who like your friend with benefits or whatever, and then you're just
I was thinking that was the signal, like, let me get in your shower and then let me get into you.
Oh no, no, not at all.
No, I've showered. I've showered at people's houses that I've only known for 15 minutes. Yeah. Because we're meeting on Grindr, so then they'll talk. It'll be somebody who I've been talking to. It's for some length of time over messages on Grindr, and then they say, come over after work, because I've whatever. There's time, and I'll say no, I can't. I got to shower and everything, and I'm working and I'm getting paint all over. It's like, oh no, you could just shower here, because that's usually my way of weaseling that in without saying, hey, can I shower at your place? And I'm like, oh, I'm a mess. I'm covered in, drywall dust and paint.
You're just waiting for them to suggest what you want.
Right. So then that's my way of getting around that. So then I show up, and then there's 15 or 20 minutes of small talk. And if they're really good, they'll have, make me a drink or something, pour me a glass of wine. I go take a shower, and then I come out, and they're sitting in their underwear on the bed. So then it's like, there doesn't have to be any of that, empty bullshit. Like, we don't really want to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is okay, because it's nice to build up anticipation. Because you meet someone, and then it's like, the longer you wait, the more you want it.
So, Kirk, how would your first time trying to initiate just a hookup go?
Is this one that was already... Because sometimes it's already agreed upon before you go to hang out. Or is this a you're going to hang out with someone and you think it's
I don't know.
implied?
I don't know what Burger does before he goes to hang out.
Well, if somebody sent me a dick pic or an ass pic, then I know what the intent is when I get there.
I'm just saying,
and if it's going to somebody's house, you know what it is. It's not like, hey, let's meet for drinks.
it's not the same for women.
Okay.
I feel like, because I mean, maybe it is, and I'm just dense to it. But I feel like you could easily go to a chick's house to hang out, and then it's not implied that you're gonna. Be having sex.
No, it's totally
I've been to
100% implied in the gay world.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to somebody's house, that's saying that
They're going there to bang.
We're gonna smash.
Yeah, no, and that's not necessarily 100%. The case.
It's not even a gray area. It's just that's the invitation to smash. Yeah.
See, I don't know any of these things because I only like smash when I'm in a relationship, like with a girlfriend. And you know, if she gives you a kiss before the third date, then it's a no-go.
I've never waited. I've never.
So.
Wait, if she gives you a kiss before the third date, it's a no-go because she's a harlot.
Yeah.
So you say that for you, someone has to kiss you cannot kiss you till the third date?
Correct. That would be dirty.
I've never gone past a first date.
Kind of old school, you know?
I had one that was terrific. It was one of the best that I've hooked up with. And after I got there, we kind of like chatted for about 5 minutes, and he's like, "So you want to have sex?" Like, yeah.
He's
right,
like, I don't want to hear what you have to say either.
Yeah, it was like,
let's just get done with this.
It was so easy. It was It was like, it was nice.
I've never had a girlfriend that I actually liked. Meaning like as a person, like, you know what I mean? Like, not no offense, because I was like, it's that like, you're enamored with them, you know, or you're even in love with them, but you're not. It's not like there's someone who, like, when you really break it down, like, oh yeah, it's not really someone I'm like buddies with, you know. It's someone who you have good sexual chemistry with, so then you try to fit everything else around it,
right?
You know, like, and you know,
well, if you like become good friends with someone, a woman that you are then sexually attracted to because you really like them, it can't work that way. I mean, usually you're in the friend zone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Rightfully so, because
yeah,
you've become friends with them.
Well, I think that a lot of it is up to them. Like, because I feel like with a guy, you especially know, like, if you walk
Burger doesn't have this problem because he doesn't like any of these people.
But like, if you walked into a room,
those two.
If you walk into a room, and most guys, I think when they walk into the room and there's a lot of people there, you almost scan to see who the most attractive woman is in the room.
Yeah,
I
and
do
then
that.
You see that and you go, oh man, nice. Like, hey, there's a lot of pretty women here tonight. Or no, there's nothing, right? So we immediately see that, and then we already know that we're attracted to them. And with women, that like maybe they make their decision that quick, but like for guys, it's like we feel like we have to, like, we're pursuing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then, like,
and like women are being pursued.
Yeah,
and
like
the men are doing the pursuing.
Right,
it's the hunter and the hunted.
Yes, and then so with that, so in some cases, like a guy might be in a friend zone. Our friends, and almost immediately, like before he even tries to pursue, but doesn't know that that's how they've already categorized. Right. You know what I mean? Because I guess what I'm saying is that I assume that women have that exact same instinctual, like, they look around, oh look, there's a good looking guy, so they know that they bang the good looking guy, right? So if there's not a guy, so if you're just
or just a general like that one's fuckable, that one's not.
well, that's
That's
I mean,
it depends on how many drinks you have.
and it depends on. I think
Right.
I'm just meaning like in the quick scan of things.
Yeah.
So like if you don't necessarily jump out to them as like some like fuckable guy that they immediately soak themselves for,
Right.
they're going like that. The more likely it is that they've already decided they wouldn't have sex with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or there's the hottest guy there, and then that's what gets them all soppy and eager. And then when that guy goes off somewhere else, and they're like, all
When
right,
he picks his favorite out,
we need to find somebody else.
the next in line.
Well, yeah, that could work too. I'm just saying that a lot of times they're going to make a decision before you even hit it off, whether or not they would, and then sometimes they probably will stick to it in their head. As where with a guy, it's like, yeah, of course, female A, of course you'd have sex with her. But then then let's say you talk to him for about 20 minutes, you go, Jesus Christ, this person's an idiot. I'm not talking to her anymore. And you go away, right?
I don't know.
2/3 of the guys I have sex with can't barely even speak English. That's
Honestly, I don't know. When there's the most attractive woman is in the room, it's really hard not to pay attention to them, even if you don't like them.
Oh, no. I agree. I'm just saying that, just like for a guy, just because she's like she might be super hot. Like if it's not necessarily completely on the table, and it's just like this, like, oh, you're just talking, like it's not. I guess what I'm saying, like imagine going to a show and there being like a hot chick in the circle that you're talking to, but she's just obnoxious, and that like this isn't really going to lead to anything. So I'm just not gonna. And you just walk away, even though she's the hottest chick around, but she's obnoxious, and so it's not really worth your time to do because that it's like the amount of effort to even try to get her to even think that way.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's like before you even met her, you decided that you'd have sex with her.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like, with women, they probably make that same decision, but they don't take into account the time that a poor guy would take if you hit it off with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like we all know. It's all like when a hot girl goes to a bar, right? It's like she knows that like probably most of the guys in here would like to have sex with me.
Yeah.
When you go to a bar, or when I go to a bar, or let's just say the general guy goes to a bar, they go in there and go, man, I wonder if there's any chicks in here that want to have sex with me.
Mm-hmm.
So you start talking to if you start talking to a gal and you hit it off, she could have already fucking friend zoned your ass without you even knowing, and you're thinking, whew, all right,
This is going well.
this is going great.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, we should hang out again. Like, can I get your number? Yeah, no problem. And then it's like, oh, sweet, dude, she gave me her number. She wants to bang. And in reality, she's not even thinking about you ever.
Ever again.
Ever again. When you text them, you're like, wait, who?
Yeah. You get up the next morning with your hangover and you're like, oh yeah, that chick that I met last night.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there was a night,
I
God, it was sometime before the whole lockdown and stuff. And I remember it was, I thought it was a Black Lab or Tony V's night, but it must have been a Black Lab night. Because someone who worked at Tony V's was out with everyone. And for whatever reason, this was definitely 2019. I went to the Sound View, which I never go to. And that's like where everyone ends their night, at the Sound View. And then we went back to someone's house for like a house party. And then after that, like I was leaving. This was because I lived in Lake Stevens. So I'm about to leave. And this gal comes walking out and she's like, can you drive me home? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. And like, she's like really good looking and like was someone who I had interacted with very briefly through, at a bar, they worked at a bar. And,
Is this the woman who had like a Marine husband or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, so but this one, she was like, yeah, something about I needed to make new friends, and all you guys are always really nice whenever you come in to the place. So I just thought I'd hang around you guys tonight or something. Is what she was like explaining. I thought, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, all these people are kind of nice, and whatever. And I remember taking her home and having a thing where it was like, I took her home and she's like, oh, you're not gonna come up and have a beer? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I guess I'll have a beer. And I went up to her fucking place and we hung out and listened to music, sitting next to each other on like a love seat, like until like 7 a.m. And it was one of those things where I didn't necessarily get the vibe, like, fuck me. But because it was all ambiguous. It's like, this girl's pretty drunk, but yet I am over here and it's late at night. Mm-hmm. But I'm not getting any necessary signs. She's sitting next to me on a love seat, but she's not like,
and she's invited me into her home,
right? But she's not like touching my leg or like, there isn't that like kind of incidental contact that you take as like, oh, they're trying to physically engage, right? Mm-hmm. So the whole time I'm just sitting there, I'm just going, well, whatever.
See, Burger would have been like, oh, this is 100% go.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Burger's dick would have.
I've been in similar situations, and if you had done anything, it's possible that you would have been accused of rape the next day.
Or just being a pervert, like whatever, like if you took the wrong route. But it was a cool night. We listened to like cool tunes and like it was really fun. And it was this thing where it was like at the end of the night, I'm thinking we're definitely gonna hang out again, at least, like 'cause she's really cool. She's
like wants to be friends.
Yeah, at least.
And I just remember she shook her hand or something like that. I remember she shook my hand at the end of the night. Really, like, yeah. That part didn't bother me because, like I said, I didn't think that something was gonna happen.
Right. Okay.
But it was a weird like where I thought, man, this chick's cool. We're gonna be friends now. No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah.
Like I tried, and maybe she took my interaction wrong or something. But I remember like on Facebook or whatever, hitting her up like because there was like an artist that she played, and I couldn't remember who it was. So then I was like, hey, who was that? And she replied right away. But then I was like, that was a lot of fun. We should hang out again. No reply.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, loud and clear. But
definitely
like I said,
not 2-ply.
Right.
Not even 1-ply.
Yeah. It was like no reply. And yeah, so I ended up, I just remember like thinking, man, that was a great night. And if I wouldn't have known better, I would have thought that we hit it off. Like if I didn't, try to like engage in like, well, maybe I should get your number so we can hang out again or something, but anyways.
So that didn't go anywhere.
They didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But like you hit it off. Mm-hmm. I would have definitely had sex with her before getting to know her. Like just from her looks, right? And from when I'd seen her before, I was like, man, that's a pretty chick. And then you talk to me like, oh, this chick's pretty cool. She already had the fucking stamp. Boom.
Yeah, a pretty chick that's also cool.
What the fuck is that noise? I think it's outside. It must be outside.
I think it's
it's a welder. It's my neighbor. He's welding.
Okay.
He gets up at like 6 a.m. and starts welding. And like I'll come out randomly and there's just it looks like the sun. Like you can't look directly at it because he's got the sparks on. He's got a mask on and everything. He's like in his 60s, and then he'll randomly just ride a child's motorbike throughout the neighborhood.
Sounds like a cool guy.
He's pretty cool.
Or a tweaker.
He's not a tweaker at all. He's just a goofy guy he's retired. He's got lots of time on his hands. So he just fucks around with shit all day and like welds random. He just welds pieces of metal together.
Yep, that'll do.
But it's not even anything that has a purpose. He's just like he finds like
I'm practicing.
He finds a steel rod and like a plate or like a cookie sheet.
Someday I'll be in
I gotta fuse these things together. I need something to do.
Brought to you by Kirkland Brand. Ultra strength, anti-acid, calcium carbonate beneath my skin. Ultra strength, anti-acid, calcium carbonate underneath my skin. Calcium carbonate in
random segue. I wonder what's the rule on like copyrighted material? Because I've seen like
Talking about
podcast,
music?
well, music or even like video. So like, let's say like we did a live stream, right? And we were doing like a watch along.
Mm-hmm.
Would we be able
Oh,
to,
I
is
see.
there any way you'd have like, be able to do video, or would it have to be like chopped up and edited? So like where you're
There
like,
was a landmark case to do with involving H3H3 podcast, and they would basically wash an entire thing. They do usually chop up the video, but
yeah,
the conclusion was if you're adding your own content,
yeah,
I forget how they worded it, but yeah, if you're adding something of substance and you're not just basically showing something as it was,
yeah.
then it's not infringing.
Oh, okay.
Interesting, because I had an idea.
Sure.
Well, and it's honestly nothing new than other ideas I've pitched before for the show, but like when we were just over in Wenatchee for the band, me and Tice pulled an all-nighter after the show. We were pretty amped about it, and the only thing that was like on TV that we could find was Judge Judy. And so then I just started like kind of roasting the show, and I was like, this is funny. Should be a podcast because it was funny. And I just thought, well, the only way it would really work as a podcast is if it was video, so then people could see what you were even roasting in the first place.
Yeah. You'd
Yeah.
have to see
You
what
know?
was it. You'd have to see the source material.
Because the case was so ridiculous. It was like a woman. It was a woman, and she was pissed. Had like fish. It was like some sort of exotic fish. And then there was like the fish dealer, and the fish dealer, like this weaselly, like he had a beard, but so he looked like Robin Williams, and Robin Williams wanted to get taken serious, but he was like a little skinnier.
Yeah.
You know, so like he had
Jumanji.
he had like the Robin Williams beard, kind of, but had real like kind of weaselly voice, and she was like just fucking pissed. And then her husband was like sitting off to the side of her. But he wasn't standing. He was like sitting, there as like a witness or whatever he was going to be.
Yeah.
And you could just tell when he'd get up to speak that his wife was so pissed off at him because it seemed to be that he was the one that made the deal with the guy.
Right.
And so the wife was cleaning it up. And so then I just started riffing like the fucking Gerald. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with his fucking ass. He took me on to Judge Judy, embarrassed me. Fucking fish. I mean, come on. Like, it was just this whole thing. And
Gerald
It was
and the
it was like
goddamn
her
fish.
husband did this transaction with the fish dealer, and then something went awry, and then he's like, live and let live, and she's like, no, you need to do something about this. He's like, I don't want to do anything. Here's the thing.
He was more. I wish I had the video. He was more of like a, he's a hothead to everyone else, but his wife can really fucking break his ass down.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because he was getting up to Judge Judy, and he's like, like there was some sort of contractual warning or whatever about the fish, where it was like, if a fish dies, we'll reimburse it and yada yada. And then something died, and there was all this because
So they're a power couple.
the volume was down. The volume was down for the most part, and me and him were just kind of bullshitting over it and making up stuff about the characters. But it was along the lines of like Judge Judy was pretty much like, you guys had you were warned, so whatever. I think they may end up making some kind of settlement. You were warned.
Were
It's
they
your
wealthy?
fault. That's the thing. It was like, I feel like they were like kind of
Who's buying exotic fish?
well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like that they were like a couple where the guy is like a used car salesman, and so they're like they're well to do, kind of in the
a
context
used
of,
exotic car salesman.
but they're well to do in the context of like their kind of town and stuff.
Right. Yeah. He's got good seasons.
he brings in 6 figures a year, usually easy. But as he's gotten older, he's gotten a little more like lazy about it, and he kind of delegates everything. And now he's, taking more and more vacations, and she's fine. She's,
He's like the
she's like
local chiropractor.
whenever she would show up to the car dealership, like everyone who worked there was like, oh fuck. Because she comes in like she runs the place, even though she's not employed there.
Right. She's just
They
the
listen
bitch
to her
wife.
and they're afraid, but
Yes.
then after she walks away, they're
It's
like, "You
God,
don't
this
fucking work here, you
goddamn bitch." Yes. That's exactly what the vibe she put off. Like, I wish I had a picture of her to show you guys, because you'd be like, "Oh my god, yep." It'd be exactly what you're imagining.
What's
I'm
her
sure.
name?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember any of their names.
What would that name be?
Oh, I mean, like,
It would be a two-part for like two first names.
I don't know. I feel like
Is
she
this
a Becky?
Southern? Is this
like it's
Southern?
like a Tammy. It's like
Tammy,
they're like
okay.
Florida, maybe.
Okay,
like
Tammy
Florida.
sounds
Tammy.
Tammy sounds right. It was
Tamara.
Tammy.
Ugh. I wonder if I could find it, like, just by like searching Judge Judy exotic fish, and just like her picture.
How
and then-
many
gotta
more
be on
exotic fish could there be?
How many
Cases.
exotic fish cases have been on Judge Judy in the last 25 years?
Look, we didn't realize the dolphin needed to be in water to breathe.
Is that show still on the air, or is it just
Judge
reruns?
Judy?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Is she still doing that show? That
I
bitch was
remember
like
hearing-
90 years old 25 years ago.
I remember hearing that
It's
she
a
was like
hologram now.
the most
Here it
well-paid,
is.
Oh.
Here it is.
most
Here
well-paid
she is.
actor on TV.
She what? What?
She was the most well-paid actor on TV. I heard.
Here we go.
Was she really?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's ridiculous.
Your entire tank. Within 6 days, I lost 18.
This is the exact case. Wow.
My business tanking.
Hold on.
18 fish in 6 days.
18 fish.
Hundreds of customers. Are you prepared to replace the
Oh
12
God.
fish? Judge Judy.
Oh, that guy.
Hold on.
That's how they entice people. Like, who wants to?
Here's the
Who's
whole.
gonna tune into a show
the
that
trailer.
when they hype it up like?
See, there's her husband.
Fish.
Sick fish with a disease on it. It infected your entire tank. Within 6 days, I lost 18 fish.
That's not.
all
That's your
business
fault,
tanking.
you dumb bitch.
He has been sending out sick fish to hundreds of
Oh,
customers. Are you
so it killed the
prepared
fish
to
she already
replace the
had.
12 fish?
Yeah, because it was sick. You're supposed to
Yeah.
quarantine any new fish you get.
You absolutely, yeah.
That's
You're
what he
supposed
was
to.
explaining to them on the thing.
Everyone
Yep.
knows
We got
that.
a koi pond. That's.
But
what
hold
you're
on, look at her.
Mail order tropical fish with belly up.
For mail order.
Sick fish with a disease on
That's
it.
her, right? I mean,
Entire tank.
Yeah.
oh
yeah.
fuck.
How
Yeah.
expensive?
Tammy's showing up.
Yeah, Tammy.
Yep.
Tammy's showing up.
He has
She
been
sounds
sending
like
out
she's
sick
from
fish
Carolina.
to hundreds of customers. Are you prepared to
Which one?
replace the 12 fish? To replace the
Oh yes.
North.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, you know what? So who won the case?
I think, like I said, there was like a settlement where, because I remember the Weasley.
How much are these fucking fish?
The Weasley Robin Williams guy was like, he was like, I just try to do right by my customers. It was, oh, that's right, because his voice reminded me of when Zach Galifianakis does like Seth Galifianakis and he's like from North Carolina. He's like, I just wish to do right by my customers. And
This has got to
you
be
know,
North Carolina.
Oh, it's like like the elected. What's the Zach Galifianakis?
I forget.
When he was
Oh.
with Will Ferrell and
the campaign, right?
Campaign,
Yeah.
gotta do right by my constituents.
He actually looks more like Zach Galifianakis than
Yeah,
Robin
that's
Williams.
that's right. I just remember the beard reminded me of Robin Williams, but then as I kept watching, I was like, no, he's more like Zach Galifianakis.
Well, I just saw him briefly. It reminded me of the Weasley musician guy from Lost, who was in Lord of the Rings. He looks
Yeah,
like he
the
has some
fucking
kind of
guy who
autistic
looks like
condition.
he looks like the Weasley musician guy from Lost. Who? Oh, no, I thought you were talking about the guy who was a musician on Lost that looks like Charles Manson.
No. The guy who
You know what I'm talking
was
about?
In the first, yes,
The guy who looks like he was born to play Charles Manson.
right,
Yeah.
and somehow that never came to
That
fruition.
never came to fruition. Actually, you know, I think he played Charles Manson in something. Or didn't we look this up? I swear there was a time when we've had this conversation. Where it's
I don't
like,
remember. I know we've
he's
had the
had to have
conversation.
played Charles Manson.
I don't remember if we've had the conversation, but I know that if it hasn't happened, that
The
it should
role
happen.
he was born to play.
He was born to play Charles Manson. He looks exactly like him. He's got the serial killer eyeballs.
Yep.
And the same kind of shape of his face and everything about him. He's scrawny. Like I was born to kill.
Born to kill. There's a certain kind of greasy hair and eyebrow shape that just, you know, it means they're a murderer.
Yeah, it lends itself to that type of character. Yeah, it's like it's the certain kind of, and there's a certain eye contact. Like when you meet somebody who's creepy, they have sort of like a dead fish eye contact way about them, to where they don't actually they're looking directly at your eyes,
Yeah,
but then they're trying to like, because that's what a normal person would do in this situation is look at you in the eye. But it's like they're trying hard to do it. So then
it's kind of like a nervous.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also like, there's a guy I know and a woman I know who knows him as well, who's like, every time I see him, I just get so creeped out.
Mm-hmm.
And he does have a creepy stare.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think, though, it might be his eyes are like slightly pointing out rather than
Askew?
straight ahead. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That could be pretty creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's like there's some people that have a wonky eye. It's like you can tell which eye you're supposed to look
Well,
at.
if it's really
and the other one
wonky,
is-
it's not creepy. It's just kind of like, I feel bad for you. You're goofy looking.
Yeah.
But if it's just slight, I think that gives a real creep stare.
Right. It's if it's subtly askew, then
then you're
it's
like,
creepy.
what's going on? I
If
can't
it's
tell.
if he's got one eye that shoots way off to the left, it's like, okay, he's just got goofy eyes.
He can't
but
do
if it's-
anything. He
Mhm.
can't even see me right.
Yeah.
He's looking at the wall and me at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that way you can keep an eye on the door in case somebody busts into your studio while you're doing a podcast. You're able to look at your friends in the eye and also look at the door.
You're right. I should get a lazy eye. Be useful.
I should
should get a lazy eye.
I should get
And a gun.
lazy eye
And I already have a gun.
and a boat.
It's right here.
Put that away.
It's pretty
Brandishing
sweet.
a fucking gun in the studio.
Look, I got a look at the sight.
I don't want to look at it.
I upgraded.
No. Put it
God,
away.
The trigger action on this thing is this puppy.
Nick went
It's
camping in
smooth.
Darrington last weekend and sent me a picture of him and his buddies because they went out to like shoot or do whatever in Darrington, way up in the mountain.
Right on. Going
And he sent me a
blasted.
picture of him and his buddy brandishing their weapons with ski masks on.
Oh my god!
You guys look terrifying.
Why would you do
What kind of
that?
Because he thought it was
terrorist camp
funny.
is he going to?
I think he thought it was funny, but I was like,
Look
I
like
said,
terrorists.
don't send me stuff like that.
Yeah,
Don't allow this
that's how you
picture
get
to
put on a
exist.
list.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be on. I don't want to
This
be on
picture
any
has now
list.
traveled through the internet,
I'm on enough lists already.
and it's definitely been seen by anyone watching, which is
Yeah, I'm
All
not going to be able to get on
governments-
an airplane because you sent me that picture.
yeah.
Right?
No travel to Canada.
You've been flagged, sir.
Yeah, I just want to go see my sister over in the UK. Sorry, we saw what you had on your Facebook Messenger.
We saw. I just like.
That's
We've all
Sorry, we
seen
saw.
That's all anybody needs to say to me if I go to an airport. Somebody's, yeah, like I get a flight to Australia. They run my name and they just, we saw. Like, that's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They're really nice.
I'll
to you
take a
before,
motorboat.
They're really nice to you beforehand, though. They're just like, they're like, oh yeah, Australia. Oh, it's gonna be great over there. It's like,
It's always beautiful. this
hey,
time of
your
year.
information, please. I'll take your ID. Yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna be able.
That's good.
Oh,
that's
why
like-
not? Why not?
We saw.
I understand.
That's like when you go to the dentist and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got what issues? Oh, we're gonna be able to make so much money on you."
Oh,
and then they look up your insurance and they're like, "Oh, do you want to just leave?
Yeah. You don't have to
You
be
want to
here.
just
Nobody
deal
wants
with
to be
that?
at the
You want to
dentist.
just brush your teeth really extra hard and go to sleep?"
Oh fuck.
No, I haven't been to the dentist in over 20 years.
Really? How's your mouth not hurt?
I mean, it feels great.
If there's no issues, there's
My canines,
I mean,
my
you
adult
should
canines
get
never grew
cleaning.
in. That's why that's why I have a gap in my teeth.
wait,
My
what?
my adult canines never grew in.
What if they're growing into your brain?
They're not. They're just
That
sitting up in my
explains it.
gums.
That's what's
that
going
explains
on.
why I got.
He's being pierced.
why I have
in the
dog
brain.
brains.
Yeah, dog brains.
That's why you got that.
That's why
His canines-
That's why we catch you panting a lot and like trying to lick your asshole.
Even though I'm just unsuccessful, I haven't been able to lick my asshole in years.
Oh,
Since the wisdom teeth grew in.
Yep. I had a stepmom that worked at Boeing, and I was able to go to the dentist when I was a kid. It was a big deal.
They're the first one in our family, son.
Mm-hmm.
Get to
So,
visit the
We never
dentist.
been to, we was never able to get to the dentist before.
We heard it's witchcraft.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. How'd it feel? It felt weird.
They stick your hands in their.
They
how'd he
so
fit,
many fingers
how'd
into
he
my
fit
throat.
how'd he fit his whole hand in that mouth of yours?
Well, he started with a couple fingers, and then he added a finger, and 5 minutes later, he squirted some kind of
Jelly.
some jelly on me. And then he was able to get 5 fingers.
I felt something real warm on my belly.
Then I fell asleep for hours.
God, dentist office, right?
Yeah.
Sucks, right?
I woke up with a really bad earache.
Huh.
Oh man, I'm drinking the shit out of this drink.
Is that cranberry mixed with
Yeah, he's on his period.
No, I'm trying to get rid of my urinary tract infection.
again?
Of course.
It's
It never goes away.
Well, yeah, because he's always plowing butthole, so poop particles are getting in his pee hole. Of course, he's gonna get an infection in there. He's got shit going in his pee hole.
Oh.
I haven't banged anybody. Well, the last one doesn't count because I didn't go in all the way. So
It's-
that's probably not what it was.
In your pee hole is at the very tip of your penis. I'm assuming, like most everyone else's pee holes.
Yeah.
It's not like in the middle.
Is it in the middle and
blowhole?
it goes down?
No.
No?
No, I've seen some of those where they have like a really extreme slit.
I didn't actually think that was real.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I've seen a
I
couple
just
of those.
imagined Tim, like the image I had when Tim said his was in the middle of the whole dong. And there's just like a blowhole
Yeah.
at the bottom, like a fucking
It's like a whale.
like a
Upside down whale.
Yeah, like upside down whale. Yeah,
Just every so often there's this
It's like a
heavy mist.
it's like a recorder.
Yeah. What's that sound?
And then, if
Oh,
you take
sorry, just a dick fart.
what's like a what would
guys
you
get
call it?
those,
What would you
right?
use
What's so
for a
funny?
word of men queefing out their dick? There's got to be a
Like a dick fart.
Yeah, like a dick fart. Rather than a pussy fart, which is what a queef is.
That's gotta
right?
happen.
The queef is the pussy farting.
Yeah. Well, it's
not farting.
It's not, yeah.
They
Does
don't
the
like
queef
that.
only occur during or like after sex, or is it something that women can do randomly? Like, can
Some
women be sitting
can.
at lunch with their friends?
Ladies
and
listening
then-
to the Brute and the Fruit podcast here, email us please and let us know your queefing way it works for you and your queef. I think no queef is the same. They're like snowflakes.
Mm-hmm.
Like some maybe some vagines can suck in air like and then
Look,
push it out.
As a man, let me explain female anatomy to you guys.
Okay.
They are getting air in there when you fuck them, right? And they
Yeah.
queef sometimes then.
Oh, and it's always funny too because you like thrust it in and it's like, and then they get really self-conscious and you're just laughing.
You just
It's like,
go,
that's funny.
And then you slap their ass and,
then
But
spit on 'em.
I have seen some cool videos of girls that can do it on command.
They can like suck it in, like.
Oh, okay.
And there was a
Okay.
girl who did it like 18 different ways.
Oh, wow.
She was like,
18 different
That's
positions.
talent.
she was like making a game out of it. She's like, I could do it like this. And then she's like,
Was she
"No,
on
you can
America's
do it
Got
like
Talent?
this."
I
It was
wonder what-
actually a really disturbing video.
I wonder what Howie Mandel would think of that. Would he hit the button? Would he?
When he hit
would
the
he-
button.
Would they send it like if
They
they
give
send
her
them
the
to
golden
Hollywood?
ticket. They
They
send
give her
her
golden
straight
ticket.
to the finals.
I've never seen anything like it. They start crying. The woman comes out and she just queefs
Heidi
in the
Klum
18
is just
positions.
bawling.
Mm-hmm. And then at the
That's
end,
who- that's the
or
one,
is
right?
it like,
Heidi Klum?
is
Heidi
it
Klum,
like,
is she on
or is
America's
it-
Got Talent
Yeah,
or
yeah,
fucking one of those things?
it's like you at the airport, they're like, we've seen.
Mhm.
And then they just don't allow her into like Target.
She comes walking out, and Howie's just like, "No, I've seen this. I've seen this. You have to go. You have to go away."
That's
now."
dirty. That's dirty. I feel like I have to wash my hands after just
Seriously,
knowing
that video
a
was
queefer-
really fucked up.
There's a queefer in the building.
It's also like she's wearing clothes, and it's not porn at all. It was
Well, pull it
just creepy as fuck.
Pull it
And
up.
Yeah, let's see it.
I don't remember.
As long as I don't have to look at the
This is gonna be on my
I don't even like to say the word. It's hard for
history.
me to even produce the word, like any word for vagina. Pussy. Pussy's easier
What?
because it's just like that's what I call people that I'm not fans of.
God, there's actually a lot of videos of queefing.
Well, there's probably a lot of videos of farting too if you type that in.
I never thought about that. Just going on YouTube and type
Howard
in fart.
Stern comes again.
So you
21
get-
fart salute.
There's probably there's people doing the Star Spangled Banner
Oh,
and queef.
yeah, I bet you there's people doing Star Spangled Banner and farts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see. It was Australian. Maybe I should.
Speaking
Oh,
of
here it is.
Oh, yes.
You know something people don't talk about in public anymore?
What the fuck?
That's George Carlin.
That was what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
what the
It was George
fuck?
Carlin.
Oh, wait. They just put that at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
It's Justin Timberlake.
Hi everybody, I'm Stacey Hall, and tonight
She's just-
I'll let you have a fanny fart.
Oh,
What did she
fucking
say?
pot.
Fanny fart.
Oh, Fanny Fall. Oh, okay.
Get a nice comfortable tongue with a die, get a nice comfortable mat.
This
She
is
sounds
real.
like-
It's disturbing.
Slow down.
Was it you that brought up Dot from Mad TV recently to me? That's what that reminded me of.
Notice that? Now, elevate
Just like a
your weight
retarded
to
gremlin.
Now, first
I'm
of
gonna
all,
teach you how to
breathe
fanny
in
fart.
the air until you feel
Just want her face on camera.
So you use your hole.
Does she know that her queefs are forever?
And you control it, and then it will come in. So now
She's
you
talking about
push it
sucking
out.
in.
Yeah,
She's
she's talking
teaching
about the
you how.
science of queefing.
And you can hear it get sucked in.
That should be the name of the episode.
Examples.
The science of queefing.
Queefer.
Oh, she's she's doing like an ASMR. She's got the mic real hot on her pussy.
No, she's just
On her
really
vagina,
loud.
on her
I'm pretty sure it's just someone holding like a home camera in the 90s.
That's a bit of a sloppy one.
in the 90s.
Now,
It's a really bad video.
if we had our legs up here, hear it.
That's a really sloppy
Yeah,
one.
because I can hear like the air moving around in the room.
And that tends to hurt some
You can hear the reflections of the room.
Alright, so try
She's
not
just
to do it
loud.
too often.
This is just
Problems
insane.
might occur.
Huge
Alright,
farts
now-
on dates. What's this about?
In dating, the person you're seeing
Oh,
is
come on. My
attractive,
YouTube's gonna be
but
fucked
like
now.
clockwork, and no
It's
matter
just
what the
like
circumstances,
how to
Your
date
feed.
and fart.
each
How to
and
fart while
every
dating.
hour. Would you
How to
consider
queef.
a relationship?
Next time you're on a date, you're gonna be out to dinner, and then you're just gonna be like, your phone's gonna come up. There's a new
Oh, I was just
notification.
asking someone a question. Never mind.
New YouTube notification. How to properly
Is she the
fart
one
in
farting?
public on a date.
No, it was it was a question, like a questioning people on the streets, like,
Oh,
would you keep going on this date if someone farted? Yeah, if she was hot. Like that's what they're getting. And I was like going,
I don't think I could do it. I don't think after if somebody farted on the on
well,
the
you've got to
first
be
date.
thinking about that asshole for the rest of the night.
Right,
So-
right. Like I was. That's something I
again,
plan
it depends
on
on it depends on how charmed I am by the gal.
Ugh.
Meaning, like, meaning in the sense of like, if I'm already like, if she's already got me,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? I'm already like a puppy dog for it, and it was in a situation where it was funny.
Yeah.
It would be this thing where, and they were obviously embarrassed. I would just be like, it's not a big deal. It's funny. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's a fart.
If you're
Nothing would stop me.
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess I mean if you're in the midst of things and you've already gone down to that area and you're feeding and then
You're
something
feeding?
happens. Yeah. I don't know.
That would be terrible.
I've never had that happen, but
but nothing would.
I
stop
assume a
me,
lot of the guys
so.
that I've been with don't fart because they're
Speaking
like,
of,
I only
so
because they're too
You
pretty.
just pump their butt and they never.
Sometimes they'll make that their stuff will make noise when I'm.
oh god. You know, speaking of instructional videos,
That's where he draws the line.
Yeah.
Phobe.
You phobe.
You phobe. You don't want to hear about dudes farting because they're getting plowed by.
I know. I assume that kind of
Actually, that's not farting. That's queefing.
yeah, it's queefing.
It does count as queefing, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's like this isn't farting. What I'm doing with my palms now,
right.
You're right.
producing the sound. Yeah.
That was not with his palms.
Sometimes it can be extraordinary.
For a long while now, we've talked about doing instructional videos with Tim, and I had an idea. We talked about having you do your own ASMR videos, and I think that we should really get into that and try that avenue.
I agree.
But then it got me thinking because a lot of these ASMR videos are really strange, and they talk to the camera as if they're talking to the person through the camera. You know, like, "Hello, beautiful. You've had a hard day, haven't you?" And they're like reaching out to the camera and shit.
It's nice to see you.
And they do like role play. There's some that'll do like role playing ones where they're like trying to fall asleep. So then like they're laying on a bed and they're just like, "I can't sleep either." Blah blah blah. Right?
Oh, that's
Can't
cute.
sleep either.
Yeah.
Actually,
so-
that made me really uncomfortable. You
So
thought that
it
was
made me
cute?
think about how that would make a really great movie, like where a guy is like doped into like he falls for one of these crazy YouTube artists who does these videos.
But then it's like
And
misery.
he goes off and stalks them and like tries to like make her fall in love with him.
Okay, I was gonna say,
And,
is
but
it like
then it's like already believes that she is in love with him from. Well, you sad, you sad.
Mhm.
And then he hobbles
Is
her
it-
and locks her in his snow-covered. It's like misery. That's what.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So to the viewer at the beginning, like, do you think that it's just like his girlfriend? They're on a FaceTime chat or something, or do you just is it known for the viewer from the start that he's
feel
watching
like-
a YouTube video?
I feel like you know.
That would be cool, like a twist.
Well, I feel like that's how it should be
Yeah,
shot
that's
in
what I
the
was
beginning.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you see just her talking, and you think she's talking to him the whole
And then he
time,
pauses the video.
and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden there's a weird change after he goes out and meets her, and it's like, why does she not like him anymore? She's acting really creeped out.
No, that's the teaser trailer. The teaser trailer is like the shot of the computer, right?
Mhm.
And then, but like it's like a FaceTime. You're thinking it's a FaceTime.
Yeah.
So like they're like whispering and stuff, and it's kind of like that's okay, whatever.
Yeah, because she's whispering and he's whispering back, almost like they're in a conversation.
yeah.
Just a little, like he only answers a little bit,
He's
So,
just
like,
sitting
but
there
then-
He's seen the
smiling
video before.
intently. He's just
But then
You
it
don't
like,
know that in
but
the-
then it like it's like kind of zooming back like from over their shoulder, and then like he clicks pause,
Mhm.
and then it like shows like the production company name, and then you start getting the backstory in the trailer, So then the trailer's
Yeah.
like, you don't even know who she is. Oh, I know her. She knows me.
Mhm.
We're in love.
I know her better than I could know anyone.
Yeah.
I know her better than I know myself.
Yeah, there we go.
She knows me better than I know me.
It's kind of but then I take it back because it does. It's
Who's
similar.
he saying that to though?
His coworker. Like
Oh
it's
God,
not
that's
His roommate.
No.
They
no.
definitely got to call the police on him at some point.
It's a coworker. It's like someone who they work next to who it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they make small talk with every day,
Creepy-
and they sort of
creepy
hear about each
Chad.
other's developments in their lives.
Right.
I've been looking at cool Reddit things about guys with waifus.
With what?
Waifus?
What's that?
You're an anime dude.
I'm not an anime dude. Not at all an anime dude.
It's a pillow with an anime lady on it
Oh, okay.
Oh.
that you make your
Oh,
girlfriend.
yeah. I've heard of those.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
people, yeah.
Your girlfriend pillow.
Yeah.
But it's not just that, because they can fill their entire room.
They're called cum cushions.
They can fill their entire room with this character and start to think that they actually are in a relationship with them.
Mm.
And then they will like write odes and they'll write things
Dude.
about them and how much they love them and how great their relationship with them is, even though they're just an anime character.
I think that's beautiful.
There's a similar
Love knows no boundaries.
That would be a good movie.
that would actually
Waifu.
that actually might be the more because like my story is almost similar, like you said, to Misery, but also there's a movie with Patton Oswalt called Big Fan.
Oh.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's pretty good.
I'm guessing Patton
Spoiler
Oswalt
alert.
is the creep.
Yeah. Spoiler
Makes a lot of
alert.
sense.
Here we go. So the movie, it shows him he like works in like a fucking parking garage or something like that, like late at night, like a lot attendant or whatever. And so he's like listening to sports radio, and then like he writes out his like what he calls it, and he like writes it out like a script, And so like that's his glory is going on the sports radio show and arguing about the New York Giants. Like that's like his team, and he argues against some guy named like Philadelphia Phil or something like that. And they're always jib jabbing back and forth.
These are just call-ins.
Call-in shows, yeah.
They're not. He's not like a radio.
No. He's just like some random dude, you know. And so like, and so anyways, he's in love. Like he's obsessed with this player that's on the Giants, and who's like really good. And him and a friend of his, they're out and they see him out in public, like at night, and they decide to follow him. So they follow him all the way from like some suburb to like some hood area that they run into like some spot real quick. And then they follow him all the way to this club in New York, like in downtown New York in Manhattan. They follow him into the club, and then they like are watching him and stuff and being like, you know, and basically what's happening is he approaches the guy and then triggers him by saying something like about how he kind of lets it slip that they'd followed him there. And then he's like, what the fuck? And like freaks out and beats the shit out of him. The football player does, like puts him in a hospital. And so then the rest of the movie is like the debate on whether or not he should press charges against this guy. Cause if he presses charges, then the Giants don't win.
Oh,
because he's the best player on the Giants. And so he won't press charges because he wants the Giants to win and stuff.
He's a big fan.
And then it comes out that he's the actual, it comes out in the sports that he's the one. It's like this weird thing where it's like, he's the one that they found out that he was the one that was calling in and doing all the stuff on the show, I believe. And so like the sports, the news articles are all, the radio is all talking shit about him now because he might be the one that keeps that guy from playing in the game. And it's interesting movie. It's kind of eerie, you know, it's like a very like kind of creepy stalker vibe of a movie, you know, but that's kind of like the idea I was getting with this thing. Cause this guy is in his mind is his hero. It's this hero of his. He's got posters on the wall of this guy.
And the guy kicks the shit out of him.
Kicked the shit out of him.
Why did he have to beat him up so bad? Because he couldn't hit his own girlfriend?
I don't know.
Yeah, that seems a little weird, but
the was it
Waifu?
Waifu?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like that movie
Waifu.
Her with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
I just bought that.
I've
never seen it.
Yeah,
I've heard of it.
I watched that with my mom. That was a kind of uncomfortable movie to watch. It wasn't bad until the phone sex scene.
The masturbation.
And it was like, it was just kind of like weird because she had rented like a handful of movies and that was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just were, she's like, you want to see it? I'm like, oh yeah, I heard that was good. So then we're just watching the movie in the living room. And I was like, I just remember that scene being like, okay, all right, let's be over with.
Yeah. It's horrible watching scenes like that with your parents.
It's just fucking, what's his name? The actor, Joaquin Phoenix masturbating, like,
and then
convincingly,
and Scarlett Johansson
God.
like orgasming over the phone.
Yeah.
And so it's just like this, like,
it's like, when Philip Seymour Hoffman was getting jerked off in that movie that had Joaquin Phoenix in it. I don't remember what the name of it was. When Amy Adams was jerking him off.
Oh yeah,
the
Master.
The Master. That was a good movie.
Yeah. The Masturbator.
The Master.
No, he didn't masturbate. He was being
masturbated.
Well, master means
wasn't she like talking
by Dick
him up?
Cheney's wife?
Wasn't she talking him up too? Like when she was doing it?
Yeah.
Well, she was like, "You're gonna give me what I want." She was like telling him what to do, and he's just like, "Oh."
Yeah, I don't remember what she was saying.
I thought it was like
saying words of encouragement.
Yeah, because it was like she there was something about him
aggressive
being,
though.
Yeah, it was definitely aggressive, but it was like this thing where she was like, you know, you're a man of power.
Yeah,
you know?
she was
you're gonna get this book deal or something.
Yeah, and she's like, if you just follow your heart, you can accomplish anything. The sky's the limit. And then he just bricked all over the sink.
And he was like getting off. Well, he was like hanging out with naked chicks or something. I don't remember if that was real or not, or if that was just Joaquin Phoenix imagining everyone naked.
No, I think everybody was naked, weren't they? Like everybody just got naked in it.
Yeah, I think I can't really remember.
I thought
now.
the wife was jealous for some reason.
Yeah, I remember it not being people you wanted to see naked. It's like in Hereditary.
Well, you don't want to see.
Here's my penis.
Mm-hmm.
Bacon, sausage, roll-ups, and chicken cordon bleu. chips and Cheetos, booze and propane every day. Oh, won't you come to Leon's today?
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Well, you never see a man jerk his cock off. Go on. Alright.
Go on. Have a go.
We used to.
That's our Desmond
Desmond
from Lost.
You ever watch Lost?
No.
Was he walking around with a robe on, or was that something
that was just something we came up with?
Okay.
So Lost is fantastic, and the first season is just a masterpiece.
Yeah, for first 2 seasons.
Yeah, really. But when does the light come on in the remember, because they find John Locke finds the hatch.
Yeah.
Then the light comes on in the hatch, and then Desmond. Then that's when you meet Desmond, right? Is that in the second season or the end of the second
season?
End of the second season, right?
Yeah.
Right, but does he find the hat? He finds the hatch at the end of the first season.
Yes.
Right. So basically, they're on this island. Everyone's building. Spoiler alert for anyone who's never seen a 20-year-old show. They're building a raft to get off the island. One group, and then the other group is kind of like sticking around, hoping that someone's going to come and save them. And in the meantime, this character John Locke is like realizing that the island is kind of more like mysterious and like spiritual, and like he's finding something spiritual about it. Anyways, he finds this window on the ground, like in the middle of the jungle, like what looks like a submarine window, you know. So then he starts digging around and realizes it's like a hatch, like it's like a door to somewhere. And eventually, he's in this it was a really crazy, cool scene, and like he's like, pissed off because the hatch isn't giving him any answers. They can't get it open, whatever, And then finally he says something, and then a light comes on in the window of the hatch. So it's like, oh shit, there's something down there. There's something in there, So then that's when you meet Desmond, and then you find out that Desmond has been entering this code every 88 minutes into this computer. And if he doesn't, the entire, you don't want to know what happens, basically, is what they tell you. So every 88 minutes, you just have to go over to the computer, type in the code, which happens to be the same numbers that the fat guy won the lotto with.
Yeah.
So the fat guy,
after he killed people.
Yeah, he won that part you don't know yet.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But the fat guy had won the lotto, and he had the numbers, whatever it was, 4, 8, 15, 24, 36. It was something like that.
It's like a crazy show.
It was great though. But it shows that it's like everything's like set in like the 70s now in his like bunker, because that's when it was made, like in this. And so you find out that this hatch was really like this, almost like a bomb shelter that this guy was living in, entering the code. Finally, so Desmond, when he sees John Locke, he runs and leaves, because he's thinking there's a boat there to take him away, because he's the next guy. Because then you find out that Desmond, when he got to the island, got to the hatch, and the person running the hatch ran off and left. It was like, oh, you're the new guy to take over. And so then he left.
Yeah.
So he thought that. So John Locke thought that.
So he was there on the island before all these other people showed up?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So John Locke now believes that it's his destiny to enter those numbers, and that they have to do that. So then everyone on the island realizes that there's like this whole food supply that's at this hatch. So they start coming from the hatch to the beach and going back and forth, and they're taking turns entering the number into the computer whenever they need to. And so then finally at the end of...
This seems like a weird nightmare.
I know it does. It seems like a nightmare.
How the fuck is the code giving you food on an island?
No, the code isn't giving you food. The code is only... The code, like, there's like a warning. And then if you have like 30...
warning?
It would be like
a nuclear bomb?
You don't know.
You don't know. It just says there's an alarm that starts to kind of like an alarm bell starts to ring within like 30 seconds of you having to enter it. And every time it gets done, then you enter. And if you don't do it, it starts to kind of beep, 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 beep. So it gets to the point at the end of the season where like the philosophical question is, why are we doing it? Should we even do it? And then they don't decide not to do it. And then there's like this crazy magnetic. At first you think, oh, see, it was nothing. And then all of a sudden it hits, boom. And this crazy like magnetic energy happens. And the last time that had happened was supposedly what caused their plane to crash. Because Desmond forgot to do it at one time, or refused to do it because he had gone kind of crazy, always doing it. And then he's like, last time I didn't do it, you guys
like
crashed.
an EMT blast?
Yeah, like a big energy blast. Boom, that's what caused their plane to
and
crash.
it like sucks planes out of the sky onto the island. That's
So-
what made the plane crash to begin with.
So while they're figuring all this out and they're in the hatch entering the numbers and stuff, Desmond is now a drunk on the beach because there's no one there to save him. And all he wants to do is get to his wife or his fiance, the love of his life. That's all he wants to do.
She's moved on, dude.
You find out that she's been looking for him the whole time.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's a really beautiful like love story. Actually, it was like probably one of the best parts of the whole series. Was like their story arc. It was really great. But Desmond's on the beach and he's like always got a bottle of wine, and he's fucking trash. And
See,
he's like,
you know what I just watched, which made me think she'd moved on, was Castaway. Just watched that.
oh yeah, 'cause she had to move on.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I had
though.
to move on.
She had to. And then he gets there and they just start making out. And she's like, oh, I want to go with you. It's funny.
Oh,
What a weird movie.
And then he's like,
Movie's
no.
heavy. Robert Zemeckis.
yeah.
So, anyways,
Roger Rabbit.
Desmond's got, and he's just drunk. And at this point, one of the women, she's pregnant, right? She's still pregnant.
I think she's still pregnant. Is she pregnant?
I thought she's still pregnant because I just remember.
The British
I just
girl
remember
or
making the
whatever.
joke.
She's not British,
I just remember because Burger and I, as we're watching, we're obviously making comments and quips and stuff. And I just remember one of the jokes was that I take the pregnant one. That's fine. Like he's like just this really walking around like.
Who is this?
We
Desmond.
manufactured a version of Desmond that was a
where
lot
he's like
more
where he's like
sexually frustrated
and he's a drunk
insane,
and he's given up because he's given up on life. Because I think the joke was because his character is supposed to give up on life. And I remember telling Burger, I was like, if he had really given up on life, he'd probably be accosting more women there since there's no repercussions to doing it. So he'd be like, go on.
Yeah.
Go on, have at it. Like just walking through with his cock out. Like
come out with a robe, but it's like not done. It's not tied together.
You start jerking off to the pregnant woman, like
Just
what
staring
are you doing?
at her.
Like, I'm jerking off to the pregnant one. Like, would you ever see a man wank his cock off?
Is he Irish or Scottish?
He's like,
He's
whatever,
something-
Australian.
He's Australian, I think.
Brother.
Haven't you ever seen a man wank his cock off? Look at it. You're gonna have a go if you'd like.
You're gonna have a go. You're gonna have a go. You're gonna have a go.
I'm just looking at the pregnant one right now.
Right? Like,
just staring at her.
Yeah.
Like she's a magazine. Like she's a like.
So
Like
that's so I know anytime I need to get Burger to have a laugh, and he'd be the only person that know.
As soon as you
Would
say,
just
"Go on,
go on,
have a go," have a go might be
Have
my
a good
favorite
one, ja.
thing to
have
say.
a go at it, won't you?
What? That's the thing. He just comes out. He's walking around. Everyone's staring at him as he jerks off.
What? You ever see a man wank his cock off? Huh? Then we used to always do. So then there's a character Saeed who's from Iraq. And I just remember that's when Burger taught me what bakabazi was. And so then, because like,
it's this weird thing that Muslim men do where they get like
This is
young
true.
boys.
That boys thing.
Yeah, and then
I remember Tim
They
Dillon
make 'em
talking about
dance
how
and
the creator of Sheath Underwear did that.
Oh,
right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
right, yeah.
That's
So-
why he created the sheath, so that you could have dry balls.
So Saeed, the joke we'd always make was that because before every episode of Lost, it was always the same.
I'm gonna piss while you tell this
It was
story.
always the same voice. It'd be previously on Lost, and then they'd have all the. We used to do joke that the original plan was that they were gonna have the characters of the show, like at different times, be like, so you'd have like Matthew Fox be like, previously on Lost, and then you'd have like Kate be like, previously on Lost, and then you have Saeed, previously on Lost, and then he'd start describing I was trying to get back home to have a bakabazi. And like, he just started like, cut, Saeed. Dude, we need you to quit talking about banging little kids.
In my country, opium is very plentiful. And I smoked it all day long.
Oh. And then it just, that's a great show. Then there was a character named, Walt was the son, and he was like, and then his dad, what the fuck was his dad's name? I'll have to wait till Burger gets back in here. And the whole thing, the whole storyline between them was always Walt, was like, he was a kid, you know, and he was trying to get Walt to basically have a relationship with him because like he had just before they were just flying back because I think his mom had passed away. And like they were separated, so he never lived with him. So the storyline is always like, I just want my son. There's always that like cut, like previously on Lost, and then they show all the shit, and then there'd be like a clip. I just want my son back. And they'd be like, we gotta stay away from the hatch. It might blow up. I just want my son back. If you don't want to get off this island, you need to do these things. You know, like the highlight.
I just want my son
It was
back.
always about, I just need my son back. Whoa! He was always like just screaming for him and shit. And yeah, so then it'd be like then eventually it turned in the impersonation. Michael was his name. Michael and Walt. The impersonation for Michael started turning into Chef's dad. Oh, you know, Loch Ness Master, you know, like, oh, God damn it now.
For $3.50.
God damn it now. So they'd be like,
God damn it, monster.
oh, don't worry, Dad. Then Walt became the chef's mom. They'd be like, don't worry, Dad, I'm just swimming in the water with Jen. And I'm like, oh, you got in the water now? You're going to get sick.
Look, catch a cold.
No, I'll be fine, Dad. But yeah, that was always the Michael storyline, was always, I need my son back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good morning, Michael. How have you been? My son.
I need my son.
And there was Kate that was, because they'd always have the beautiful women that were always bathing in the...
Kate was, the first season, Kate was always bathing.
Yeah.
Always bathing.
Yeah. So, which is funny because you never saw Rose, the old black lady.
Yeah,
you never see
saw
her bathing out in the
You never saw a
waterfall.
fucking old fatso bathing.
No. It was always like Kate and the beautiful people that were...
But if you needed someone to be drinking industrial size container of ranch dressing, then yeah, you make the fat guy do it.
Oh, God.
Lost. I highly recommend it. It's a great show.
Yeah.
We need to finish it.
I know, we've been stuck on season 5 for like 3 years.
No. We're on season 6.
Oh, season 6. Season 6.
Yeah, for like 3 years.
We
How many
blew
are there?
through the show.
6 seasons.
We're on season 6?
Yes.
Oh, wow. We blew through the show. Like the first, the first 4 seasons.
It was like an obsession, and the thing was, like, I had already watched it before, so I knew that, like, how, like, but it's such like an undertaking that you kind of forget. So then it was like, oh, Burger, you never watched Lost, and like, I had it on DVD, so like, it was the thing where it's like, dude, we don't need internet, we don't need anything for it. We just throw it in the DVD player, and so because I think it was on like Hulu or something at the time, and neither of us had Hulu. But I was like, dude, I got the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
So we
got the first 3 seasons.
We throw the DVD on, and we just like, I'd be like, dude, you want to watch Lost? And come over after work, and we fucking bust through these fucking like 3 episodes, and it'd be like, shit's getting kind of late. I'd be like, let's do one more episode, and we just fucking motored through the first 2 seasons easy.
Yeah.
Got the 3rd season, same thing. It was like pretty much chugged right through.
Mm-hmm.
4th season, again, pretty much the same, where it was like, I think, because by that point we were watching it on Hulu, because one of us got a Hulu hookup, so we were watching 4th season on Hulu, and because that's what it was, we couldn't find the 4th season on DVD anywhere, so we had to take a pause.
Oh yeah.
Then we started watching it on Hulu and kind of motored through, but then by the time I got to the 5th season, that was just like a slog, because it was just like, there was so much, it was like they're doing backstory by that point. So there's just so much like slogging that you're doing.
The pacing was awful. The pacing of it was just, it was so hard to watch. So then it would be like, we'd watch one episode a week. And then we still haven't finished it. But that was like 2 or 3 years ago we started watching that.
Yeah. We were watching it in, we started watching it in 2018. Yeah.
Was it? Yeah, 3 years
It
ago.
was 2018.
I'll watch the last season with you, but that's it.
Well, it's a really great show. Terrific.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons are tremendous. And then
like the
was
first,
it season-
like honestly, the first season of Lost is like perfect television. It's just perfect. It's
You see, with Game of Thrones, I only watched the last season.
Oh, well, that's the worst season.
I didn't watch
any of it.
I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
I thought Game of Thrones sucked.
I tried watching episodes of it, and immediately it's like, I guess that I keep saying that as soon as there was any kind of sex, I just go, it must stink so bad in that room. It'd just be stinky and gross.
But if you lived back then, you would like it.
You'd like the smell.
But I don't live back then.
Don't deny it.
But I didn't live back then.
But
And
that's
it'd just be so stinky and poop.
You don't even have to wait that
And
long.
poop.
There'd be
It's like
poop
somebody
everywhere.
walks through a village.
Think about it as if you're from then.
Somebody walks through the village, and it's like, it must stink. Like, they throw their shit out the window.
Yeah.
It's gross.
But yeah, you're just going to bang,
Right,
bang.
And use your fecal matter as lubricant.
Well, you don't live that long, so you gotta create new people.
But it was brought on like it was supposed to be sexy, and it's like it's not sexy. It wasn't. They weren't doing it in this fashion of like, well, it was. It was
You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to make the fantasy realistic, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess at the same time there were dragons, so maybe you can imagine that they had plumbing.
No, they didn't have plumbing, because if they had plumbing, then they wouldn't be all like castle-y and dirty like that. You never saw any of them walking out of like a shower. It would be
They'd
like
the
they'd
Romans
bathe.
with,
Well, you never saw any of them piss either, and throw their shit out the window.
Dang.
You could practically smell it on the TV.
Maybe they don't piss or shit. The way that they empty
It's a
their
fantasy world.
waste.
There's no dragon.
Right, the way that, because there's dragons in this world, so maybe the humans in this world.
There's more than dragons.
The
There's
humans,
magical powers.
There's dead. There's like the undead,
living dead,
zombies and shit. So maybe the way that people
there's no shit or piss.
dispose of their
sweat.
waste,
There's no sweat in this
is
world.
by ejaculating into other people. That's why they have to do it so often in the
Yeah.
show. That's why every episode, anytime I say, because
they have to ejaculate to get rid of waste, and it tastes like cinnamon rolls.
Like, I never watched it, but somebody would be, I'd go into the
it tastes
kitchen.
like cinnamon rolls.
I'd go to cook something in the kitchen, so he's watching Game of Thrones, and it's like, at some point during that time, there's gonna be a sex or a rape scene of some description.
Yeah.
It's like every episode. So maybe it's because that is how the humans and the Game of Thrones, that's how the humans
No, it's because they want
get rid of their waste, is that they ejaculate
No,
it
it's
out.
because the creators and the people writing it want to be tittillating, and that's how they be titillating.
I just assumed
like
that their semen was poop.
Just like the creators of American Horror Story, like, add the most gratuitous sex scenes.
Yeah, just rotten,
for
nasty,
no need,
or
no
torture
need.
scenes that are just grotesque.
You show Adam Levine licking his fucking hand and like doing a swipe on some chick. You didn't need to have that part, but they had to show it. Like, it's just so
that show was so
uncomfortable.
pornographic. It made like, I'm not a prude, but seeing that stuff on television is just to me it's just disturbing and rude.
What did you see when he did that? Did you see her snatch or
No, because it was on FX. So like,
but you could see a dude's ass.
Basically, it was all shot in like this real like trying to think, almost like Saw kind of vibe, like the camera work, so it was like really like damn.
And there's not a lot of color,
and it's like a lot of like overblown color, and like the room looks really mildewy and drippy and like stained and gross, and there's like a haunted house, or like it's supposed to be it was an asylum. That was the year, so it was an old asylum, and so the chick's like, how horny I got doing things like this, and then she's just like sitting there on the fucking like table or whatever, like just spread eagle or whatever, and then like it shows like Adam Levine from an angle, so you see like his butt crack and shit. So it's like, oh, he's undone his belt and dropped his trousers a little bit, and then it cuts back to him. So now the camera's facing him, and you can see her like kind of side profile, the legs kind of around him, and then he's there, and he's like, and he licks his hand and like gives like a swipe like motion or some shit, you know, and then it cuts to like behind him to see his ass again, like thrusting or whatever, and then it's like up close of her, like up here and all this shit.
That's called foreplay. Lick hand, rub.
Lick hand, swipe.
And
Swipe. That's all they need.
in the modern world, it's called TV 14.
And I just remember because like I had never watched the program before, and
I watched the first season of American Horror Story. I thought it was really good. I watched the second. I didn't watch the second season. I didn't watch it again until Freak Show, whatever it was, and then it got to a point where it was just so gross to me, and it was so disturbing, and it had no redeeming value. It wasn't entertaining.
My mother,
and I watched Hotel.
My mother was a big fan of the first season, and my sisters had all pretty much. My last sister had just moved out, so my mom was out home alone at nights because my stepdad, I think, worked nights still at that point, and so she did not like watching the show alone. But like before, like my sister was always home, so she didn't like being home alone, like whatever. Yeah. So she would, she was like, "Hey, you would like this show? How about on Wednesdays you come over? I'll make dinner, and then we can watch the show." She's like, "The first season was really good." And I'm like, it was actually scary? Because at this point, like this is, you know, whenever that show first started, was that kind of the beginning of like the prestige television, you know, where it was like you would like the Breaking Bads and shit like that, where it was like good TV or like, so like if they were saying
when
something
people started to take TV more seriously
yeah, so like
than
if someone,
movies.
Right. And so someone was like, "Oh, that show is scary," it was like actually
I don't
scary.
even know what is going on now, like with COVID. I don't watch anything, but like movies seem to have fallen off the fucking face.
Hey, I actually, before the episode's over with, I'm going to review a movie.
Oh,
I just
really?
saw one in the theaters.
Was it The Quiet Place 2?
No, it was Old. M. Night Shyamalan, Lama Ding Dong, and his new movie, Old.
His new movie, Old. Okay.
Yeah. His new movie, Old.
Okay.
But anyways,
it's new. It's called Old.
To wrap up the American Horror Story, the very first episode, I show up and I'm like, "Okay, cool. This will be interesting." And my mom's like, "Oh yeah," and this is like right when The Voice first started too. She's like, "Adam Levine from The Voice is going to be on this episode." I'm like, "Oh, the dude from Maroon 5, cool." And I remember sitting there watching the show start, and this happened in like the fucking first like 5 minutes of the whole show, because he gets killed in the very first scene, and it happens all in like the first 5 minutes. And I just remember looking at my mom like, "Mom, what the fuck are you making me watch right now? This is disgusting."
It seems like you get in a lot of situations with you and your mom watching something that ends up being
disturbing,
pornographic.
Well, yeah, that and Her. I mean,
there was a story before you told me too.
Her, yeah.
No,
oh, there was a different
on another
one.
day.
I think I might have actually.
It was
been
either
that
your
American
mom
Horror
or your
Story.
grandma or something. You were in a movie
theater.
theater.
My grandma, yes. On Christmas one year, we went to go see because there's a movie from the old days called 8.5 by like what's his name? It's like some famous Italian director, and it's like this thing that's considered one of the greatest movies ever made, 8.5. And so they did a remake with Daniel Day-Lewis. So you couldn't be that bad, right? And then it had like fucking, it had Daniel, it was like Daniel Day-Lewis, chick from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Kate Hudson,
yeah,
Catherine Zeta-Jones. Like there was like all these beautiful women, and it was called 9 or 9.5 or whatever, and it was essentially like a remake of that 8.5.
Okay.
And my grandma really wanted to go see it, and for a while there was a streak where we go on Christmas, we'd go to the movie theater and we'd see a flick. And so that was the one, like, grandma got to choose her movie that time. All right, fine. And I remember thinking, Daniel Day-Lewis, it's a classic movie, can't be that bad. And it was like a musical, and the whole movie is about this famous director who's got writer's block, and he's there at this hotel trying to get all these actresses are now flaunting to him to get in this new movie, and because he's supposedly sold the next movie to the movie production group, even though he has nothing, and he says it's going to be his greatest film of all time.
Is he played by Daniel Day-Lewis?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the whole movie is like these beautiful women doing sexy lingerie dance songs and stuff to Daniel Day-Lewis and all this crap. And I just remember the whole time I'm sitting next to my grandma. And it was just like the most awkward, and the movie wasn't good. So it was like, fuck, dude, I want to get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. And my grandma like, ah, ha, ha, laughing at something because I don't know why she was laughing at whatever. But anyways, yeah, that movie was uncomfortable. That was an uncomfortable movie situation for sure.
That's horrible.
And that one was bad because you're sitting next to them. At least with the American Horror Story, you're on I'm on a different couch, like watching the show, and I'm just like, this is fucking weird, and like. And
there's pillows on the couch that you can cover your face up with.
Yeah, or you have your phone out or something because you're in a living room, as where you're in a movie theater and you're just like sitting there like, oh god, this is just, oh my god,
just begrudgingly watching this horror take place on the screen next to your grandma.
I'm gonna live through this.
Oh my god,
because like it wasn't.
How old were you at the time?
I mean, I was in my 20s.
Oh, okay, all my grandparents were dead.
It was like
so I didn't have.
It wasn't a like a thing where if she wasn't there, I'd be enjoying it. But it would be like, oh, if she wasn't there, I wouldn't be so uncomfortable with like this overly sexualized like scenes happening. It'd be like, I'd just be like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But it made it worse.
If it was you by yourself there during that movie, was it one where you would have just got up and left?
Yes.
Is that how it would have been with Old?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Old
Shyamalan Ding Dong didn't come through.
Legend has it there's a place out west where you can order a cheeseburger and chicken fried steak at 3 a.m. A place where the bartenders are old school and they unapologetically free pour cocktails in a bar where it's always happy hour. Well, folks, it turns out the legend is real. Don's Restaurant and Lounge has been a staple of Marysville, Washington since 1972, and the vintage decor reflects our dedication to maintaining that feeling of living in a simpler time. The dated dim light fixtures and the imperfect upholstery transport you back to a time where women were women and men were men, and anyone in between was committed. Our no-nonsense bartenders are sure to slay you with their small-town charm and beautifully imbalanced cocktails, and with Don's no-cutoffs policy, you can drink to your little heart's desire. No one's gonna tell you that you've had too much. So come on down to Don's Restaurant, located off 55X at 199 in Marysville. We have ample parking, great food, better drinks, and we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Oh, so bad. It was one of the. It's honestly.
It did not penetrate.
It was honestly one of the worst movies I've ever gone to the theaters to see.
Wow.
I've never really had the urge ever in a movie to like walk out, and I really at one point in the movie, I wanted to walk out. I was like ready just to fucking go. And so like me and a buddy of mine, Tony, we kind of ever since like The Village or whatever have gone to see like most of his movies in theaters.
They tried to get me to go too. He tried to get me to go to the.
You wanted to go, but you backed out.
I did. I was busy. What was I doing?
You were working.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, I was going to say plunging into it.
No, I was working. I haven't plunged
Taking
in
a
like
shower
2
as a
weeks.
stranger.
But so, anyways, it was like it was a win-win situation because I wanted to see the movie, and Tony's like, I got movie passes, so it's like sweet. So I bought some popcorn and a drink, and I got to go see this movie for free. Well, obviously the snacks. So like the previews came on, and it was cool to be back at the movies. Jackass Forever, they had their trailer, and that made me excited, and that was the highlight of the movie-going experience. The movie started, and it immediately like.
Wait, can I stop for a second? What was which Jackass was it where they had the trailer of them all being an old man prosthetics?
I don't
Do you
know.
remember that?
I don't know if
All of them?
No, there was like one. There was one where they all dressed like old men, like they all have the old man prosthetics on, and then they're like running through the fucking disposal site or whatever, and things are exploding and shit's going fucking around.
I don't know what to tell you there.
Well, I was just thinking
Facts
because
should
now
have that.
they're about at that age.
Well, no, because Johnny Knoxville's been doing that grandpa character forever.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think that's what they were kind of parodying at the time. But it's just funny now that they're like pushing 50 and they're doing this shit.
Yeah, that was him in the Christmas Movie Bad Grandpa, right?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, I just was...
No, so the movie already, it like wants you to have it's very rare when you are watching a movie and you feel that it absolutely like is keeping everything ambiguous and yet hitting everything right on the head at the same time.
Okay.
So like the questions and everything that you want to have answered that would help kind of maybe get you to buy into what's going on aren't necessarily being answered, but like there's a lot of like shit that's being hit on the head. So it's like the couple isn't happy, and so then it's like they start having a conversation where it's immediately implied, oh, they're gonna get a divorce, and then they basically go, did you like they say they're getting a divorce, where it's like you didn't need to tell me, like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it. Where it's like
was too.
The exposition was like it was.
It was like they were in fantasizing the audience by spelling things out.
It was like you felt that they were trying. In one moment, it feels like they're trying to give you exposition on the backstory without necessarily like just flat out telling you what's going on, and then immediately flip to telling you what's going on. So then you're like,
so it's like, what was the point?
So like, what was the point of any of that other than just to tell us what's going on? Like, it was just, so it felt like bad writing immediately. And then you had like, so the main gal's a chick from that movie Phantom Thread that was with Daniel Day-Lewis. I never saw it, but like, it's just she's some French gal and she's the main character. Her husband looks like Balky from Perfect Strangers. So that's what I was thinking the whole time between the two. And the two of them, it's like, the movie starts and they're in a shuttle taking them to this resort vacation that they're supposed to be going on, and there's two kids, they're like 6 and 10 or some bullshit, and I believe it's her. I'm pretty sure that's the gal I'm thinking of. And immediately they have a conversation about how I can't wait till I get older and when I'm big, and like they it's like this thing where it's like so on the head, like of course they're gonna have that conversation 15 minutes before in movie time that they're gonna be on this beach where they're going to grow old because you've seen it in the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
So it'd be like if they're in Jurassic Park and it's like, I can't wait for the raptors to chase me around, and like, oh, you don't want the raptors to chase you around.
Well, velociraptors are a real hazard.
Yeah, and like,
and they do,
and then they do, and it's like, so it's like thinking, oh,
that's good. I don't like surprises.
You don't want like, oh, you don't want to grow up too fast, and you should enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. And then so then it's like the mom, you could tell, is someone who's like, enjoy the moment. And the dad is a guy who's apparently he's like an insurance adjuster, or he like makes calculations about people's lives and like the risks they take. And he's insurance,
like life insurance.
Yeah, he's like an insurance guy.
Like, you gotta pay more for life insurance.
So then there's obviously the two of them butting heads that way. She wants him to be, take charge and provide or whatever, and he's like apprehensive because of all the numbers or whatever, right?
Right.
Every take that they did felt like they had to be done shooting by the end of the day. So every take was like, yep, that was great. Let's and it's like, I think Burger pointed it out in a review he read after I talked to him, where the guy explained where about their takes, where like it felt like they were just reading the script.
They were doing it. Yeah, they were doing
like a quick like script read, and then they were like, no, that's good, we got it. No, it's perfect. Let's go.
Yeah.
It reminds me of
it was like it was their first time reading the line.
Yeah.
And they were like
right, like they didn't
navigating their way through the script.
Yeah.
On the spot.
Yes. And there was so much, there was like stuff that like Shyamalan always gets credit for being really good with the camera. There's like, whenever you hear, whether it's a good review of the movie or a bad review of the movie, you always hear about his camera work and how he's really great with his eye and everything. This movie, it would be like someone running, and then he'd like pan up and show the rocks or the cliff side, and then pan back down to them running. And it was like, but it wasn't like there was like something hidden in the fucking shot,
or something
it was
that
like
would come to.
It was like a real like fart sniffing, like pretentious, like, oh, I'm gonna be artsy right now in this fucking shot. When it was like, in reality, it's like there was not enough answer for the thread line. So like, if it was a 30-minute show, then it had a decent premise. You didn't have to stick around that long. It's like, oh wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
If it was an hour long, it'd be like, whew, boy, good thing that wasn't a movie. I guess you get a pass. Then it being a fucking feature length, it was like they did not have enough.
How long was it?
It was probably like an hour and a half, maybe longer.
But we both
minutes.
said the same thing. Because when I talked to you that morning after you said you saw it, because I'd watched the trailer for it, and then when you started to describe it in a little more detail, I thought, and then you reaffirmed my premise is that this would be perfect for Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it was just a Twilight Zone episode. It essentially.
Twilight Zone. Why don't they put the duration top dead center? You know, that's the most important thing.
Go to Rotten Tomatoes. That'll have it.
It's the most important thing. That's why.
Anyways, there's a whole bunch of like I said, really on the head kind of shit where it's like they show, because you're following this family. Mm-hmm. So then it's like he's trying
49.
Okay, hour and 49 minutes. So there you go. An hour. Jesus Christ. No wonder why I want to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, no shit. I want to go home and take a nap. I want to go home and sit alone in the dark with my thoughts.
It shows them like go to breakfast. Like, oh, let's get breakfast. So they go to they're at this resort and they go and they're sitting in for breakfast. And then with no explanation at all, you just go to this table of other characters. And eventually you find out because they're going to be at the beach too. But it's just like this thing where in the moment of the movie, it felt just like, oh, again, it was very on the head. It was like, oh, well, we better remember who these people are because obviously because he's showing you. Like, it wasn't like they weren't in the background. It was like a thing where it was
that would be more interesting.
Eventually you see, those people from the background are here, and you find out through the eyes of the fucking people who you're following. Like, a lot of times in a movie, you're following a main character and you discover things through along with them, or it's done a lot better. In this case, it was just like they go to have breakfast and then it jumps over to another table. And then he doesn't shoot it like, oh, they're kind of observing these people. It's just like, oh, here's a table of awful people. And then it shows a woman start to have a seizure. And then that awful people guy, like, is a guy, he's a doctor. So he goes over and he helps a woman who has a seizure. And then there's a whole interaction between those characters. And then the concierge of the hotel comes up to the table with your main characters who you started with. And he's like, they're trying to figure out what they want to do. And then, oh, I'll send you guys to a special beach. it's fantastic. We only let certain people go to it. So it's like, ooh. So again, you're wondering, well, what makes these people so special? Because in the from seeing the trailer, or even just from the poster, or from the name of the movie, that when they go to this beach, they start to get old. They start to age faster.
Mm-hmm.
So they get on this bus that's taking them to this spot, and the family of like awful people are with them. They get there, and they come through, and now they're at this beach. And you could see that there's like, because they have all this food and supplies, and they're like, wasn't this wasteful? And the guy's like, no, you carry it, blah, 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 take it yourself, go. So now they're on the beach, and then, yes, everyone starts aging really rapidly, and there's no answers. There's a light that's in the coming from like the hillside, as if someone's watching them or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you see that every so often. But there's no explanation for it, and they're all just going like, why is everyone getting older? Or they figure and it's just all this like.
Is that him?
That's the boy, the 6-year-old eventually becomes the kid from fucking Hereditary.
Alex Wolff.
That's M. Night Shyamalan?
No, that's not M. Night Shyamalan.
That's Alex Wolff.
That's Alex Wolff.
He also has
M. Night Shyamalan is in the movie.
Of course he is.
He's the bus driver.
He looks younger.
So, anyways,
it's called Old.
Oh, did he?
Everyone dies or they go crazy, and like it's just like this. There's somehow, for whatever reason, there's a rapper dude there that's on the beach with them. He was
Mid-sized Sedan.
Mid-sized Sedan was his name, and he's he's on the fucking beach. He's already there, but no one acknowledges him, and he's just like sitting there, not saying anything to anyone, not doing anything. And then finally he comes out of his like comatose state or wherever the fuck he was in, because earlier in the movie when you saw him at the beach, he was with some Asian broad who got naked and started swimming in the water. So then later on, the little boy is like, swimming around. He's like, Mommy, my swimsuit hurts, because he's growing out of it. And she's like, oh, go play. So then he's fucking swimming around some spot. And then all of a sudden you see the blonde dead body bump into him. Oh, everyone starts freaking out. There's a dead body. So then finally mid-sized Dan comes walking over, and he's like, oh, that's where she went. Well, that's where she went. So then
that's where she went.
So then the awful,
to the great beyond.
The doctor from the awful family is obviously racist, so he starts to like kind of like pick at the black rapper guy.
You killed her.
Right at that time, the Asian dude from Lost,
what?
The Asian dude, he's from Lost. Miles from Lost, and his wife come to
Lost keeps coming into the conversation.
Yeah.
They show up.
It's a sign.
They show up, and she has the seizure lady. So the two of them show up. So then they're like, we got to go back to the beach or get back to the van. So they go running for the van. And then as he goes running into this is a fucking Balky, goes running into the fucking rocks. And then like the camera goes like this weird, like, and then you see his head and he's like, ooh. And then it shows him waking up on the beach. And so like, they say he went running in there, and then he came running out, and he was all like disoriented, and then he passed out, and he was just out for like 8 minutes or whatever, and then he woke up. So then slowly everyone's aging, and it turns out that you're aging a year every 30 minutes. And the awful family, they had a daughter who's the same age as fucking young Shyamalan guy there on your screen. Uh-huh. And so then they go through puberty and everything together, and he ends up knocking her up, and they have a kid, and the kid dies, and everyone's just aging rapidly. They're trying to figure out what happened.
Which none of that stuff makes any real sense.
Why?
Because they still have the mindset of 6-year-olds.
Right.
So they're not going to even.
And so it shows them laying next to each other as they're clearly like teenagers now. They're like, I don't know these feelings I'm having. Then it's like, oh, well, I feel better now that I'm with you. And then they bang.
But they're 6 in the head. Like at the end, not to skip ahead too much, but
Yeah, but they're precocious. It's like every M. Night Shyamalan movie. Most of the kids are precocious and they're way
and they're
smarter
beyond
than
their ears.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it shows them playing with toy, like before the aging goes crazy, they're like playing with toys. So like the little girl, the 6-year-old from the Awful family is playing like with like a Barbie doll and is like, honey, I'm home. And then like the precocious little boy whose parents are obviously arguing and getting divorced because you saw that scene earlier. He's like, I just can't take it anymore. I need to get some of my own space. And then it like zooms up to the mom who's like, oh no. Like a lot of the movie was like, it was like, oh, okay, I get it. This is him being like, children of divorce have to grow up a lot faster than kids who don't have that kind of, fucking shitty growth. And so then whenever you're divorced, because then like the thread through the rest of the movie was that him and his sister were still tight. So it's like you always have your siblings. So I'm guessing M. Night Shyamalan had like 3 different things hit him. He was like, his kids were probably bitching about how they weren't old enough to do something, and he's like, you guys are gonna miss when you're older, and you're gonna miss your youth. And then he's like, oh, that could be a movie. Yeah. And then he's like, and then maybe someone's like, yeah, and then we had to get a divorce, but hopefully the kids stick through it, but ever since we got a divorce, he started, Johnny started smoking cigarettes and Sarah's being very promiscuous. And he's like, oh, children of divorce have to grow up real fast. It's like, that's just like my old movie. And then he's watching TNT, and then one day he's like, oh, Cabin in the Woods. I haven't seen this yet. And he watches it and is like, there's my twist ending. Just like Cabin in the Woods. Because at the end of the movie, you think eventually the young M. Night Shyamalan dude basically becomes
Alex Wolff. There's no connection with the M. Night Shyamalan character.
He looks like M. Night Shyamalan. He becomes what's his name? Stanley Tucci.
I don't think it is Stanley Tucci.
It's a poor man's Stanley Tucci. And then the sister becomes Miss Honey from Matilda, I believe.
Yeah.
And like everyone else is dead, and it's just the two of them. There's just the two of them on the beach, and they're now old. They're like in their 50s or whatever. And then they're like, let's build a sandcastle, because you remember they're still 6 and 11 or whatever.
But they had sex.
They did not have sex together.
Sister.
Oh, well, at least one of them did. One of them had sex. Now they want to build sandcastles.
Yeah, it's just, yep.
I just that whole thing just.
So when the 6-year-old boy was at the resort, they introduced a character that was a little boy whose uncle ran the hotel, and the two of them, they made friend. They were fast friends, and they were like sharing like secret codes with each other. So like it shows the kid who looks like a young M. Night Shyamalan. It shows him before they go to this beach. He's decoding a thing. It's like ice cream tomorrow. It's like, oh yay, And so then before they leave for the beach, he gets another code from the boy, and maybe he didn't see it or whatever, but they show it like in his bag. For whatever reason, he wasn't really quick to solve it. Didn't solve it at all.
He's 6.
Until the next day when he's 50 now, and him and his sister have built the sandcastle. She said something about decoding the page, so he's like, oh, so he goes running back over and he grabs it and he decodes it. And then he like looks up at the camera and he's like, oh, and the message says, my uncle doesn't like the coral. And they go, what if the corals are way out? So there's like this whole this thing of coral out in the middle of the water. And they had talked about a theory earlier in the movie of how like maybe they need a shield or a protective way to get through the cave to get back to where they were dropped off at. And that I think they likened it to the bends. Like, the pressure is so much. It's like when someone comes up from scuba diving too fast, they get the bends and then it throws them all off. So maybe that's what's happening to us. And that the minerals or whatever and the time is just different here or whatever. And so they mentioned, maybe we need like a metal shield or something like when we go to the dentist. And they go swimming out to this coral, and then it shows Miss Honey get her like fucking shawl stuck on a piece of the coral. And then it shows Stanley Tucci go back to try to help her, and they can't get it. And then it just shows the water. And then like it's M. Night Shyamalan staring at the water through binoculars. And then he like makes a note like such and such deceased at blah 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 time, yada yada yada. And he's like, I'm coming back with the hard drives. So then he's got like these computers and all this like high tech shit, and he's like taking it, and it shows him drive back, and it's like some corporation who is like pharmaceutical corporation who's like working on medicine. And so then the concierge is in there, and they're like, let's have a moment of silence for group 73, case 73 or whatever. And this is like the last, like, I'd say 5 minutes of the movie. So like all this is finally being explained. So like I said, at one point during the part on the beach when it was just all just this ridiculous like nonsense, I remember just being like, dude, I want to get the fuck out of here. And my buddy Tony's like, we gotta see the payoff. We gotta see what the payoff is. And I remember at that moment being like, the payoff would have to be like a fucking 12 out of 10 right now in order for this movie to ever redeem itself to me. And so then when the payoff started happening, I'm like, really? Like, so all it was is they targeted people who had illnesses. I forgot to mention that the Phantom Thread lady had a fucking tumor, and the tumor started growing real big. And the guy who said he was the white guy who said he was a doctor, was getting Alzheimer's. So he like started rapidly coming, like his Alzheimer's. And so they like they also showed like whenever you got cut with something, you would heal almost instantly because of how time was going. So they realized they could cut her stomach open, hold it open, pull this tumor that was now the size of a cantaloupe out of her. And then she healed right back up. And then she was fine and had this second lease on life and wanted to stay with fucking Balky. And because Balky made the decision, because he was like, I don't know. And then finally he was like, do it, fine, do it, And so then that was like a thing, like dad said for them to do it. And she's like, you saved me. And then like it, like whatever. So
sounds like a shit movie.
Yeah, no, it was a shit movie. So anyways,
I'm getting bored thinking about it.
So anyways, the whole reason why they sent the people to this beach was they knew about this beach and they were using it as a study for medicine. So the whole thing that they took from it was that the woman who had the seizures didn't get a seizure for 8 hours and 35 minutes, which equaled out to over 16 years, which means they solved epilepsy. And they're like, now we can fast track this medicine and we can save millions of people's lives. So it was like this whole thing where it was like,
we sacrificed
collateral damage for the greater good. And then
how many people die of epilepsy, I wonder?
I don't know, but that was just what they had. That was the.
Well, it's at least
I know, but the thing
is,
it's like pharmaceutical companies also they don't want cures; they want treatments.
In this movie,
the pharmaceutical company wants
this movie. They were trying to use this island as a way.
Was the island just like that, or did they make it that way?
No, it was like that. It was like this thing that was discovered, and then they were using it. And it was like this thing where, they were using it for the greater good of everyone. And so then, it was just business as usual, and fucking Stanley Tucci and Miss Honey show up, and they prove that it's them because they had the note. And then they also had there was a black dude who was there chilling just as a normal guest. And they asked him what he did, and he was a cop. So then Stanley Tucci's like, you're a cop, huh? And hands him like this book. And the book was a journal that someone else who had been left on that island had wrote what he thought was happening there, and had all the names of everyone who was on the beach with him. So then it shows the cop going like cross-referencing like, yeah, oh shit, they're missing too? All right, well, we're going to need backup. It's Captain Marcel. We're going to need backup. And
going down the mountain.
And so then it shows Stanley Tucci and Miss Honey like call it the concierge. Then the cops come in and all this shit. and then like they're flying away on a helicopter, and then like just shows like Stanley Tucci and Miss Penny next to each other, or Miss Honey, and then they just the helicopter flies away. And the whole time I'm like expecting like there to be like a rocket or something that blows the helicopter up, because it's like this is for the greater good of mankind, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like this thing where it was like they did this whole twist where it was like, oh, it's for the greater good of mankind. So then you go, there's your Twilight Zone twist. You know, you're taking people who are terminal anyways, and you're testing it out to try, you know, fix them. Because that was the thing. All of them were on that beach. They all had someone in the group, someone from the different groups that were on the beach had an ailment
of some sort.
Mid-sized sedan had MS.
What happened to him?
He got stabbed to death by the dude with Alzheimer's. The dude went Vern Gagne.
But I thought
the guy with Alzheimer's went Vern Gagne.
But I thought this like wounds like got healed immediately.
Right, but he just kept stabbing him until
he stabbed him a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. He didn't stab him a little bit. He stabbed him a lot.
Right. And that's how they killed the guy with Alzheimer's.
So half an hour.
Is they stabbed him. They stabbed him with a rusty knife, and then it showed the tetanus like devour his body.
Okay. Because I was thinking half an hour is a year, so that means 15 minutes is 6 months, which means 7 minutes is 3 months, roughly.
7.5.
So 3 minutes is.
Are you just trying to figure out?
I'm trying to think of like how long it would take a wound to heal. But
I guess like instant.
Yeah, if you stab somebody in the heart, I guess that's a whole different thing.
Can't heal from that.
But yeah, the movie was pure dog shit. Because then it's like then it has like because then you start going like with the like, you know, well, you know, what do you do? Like for the good of mankind.
Right.
And it was like, nope, the police came and they arrested all those people, round them all up, and then they get them out, you know, they got them out of there. And it was like this thing where it was like, well, wait, now the twist, like,
yeah, it undoes the twist.
It was like this weird, it undoes the twist, but at the same time, it's like this weird, like, in a way, I'm sitting there going, you're in the wrong. Like the people, like the guy, the Stanley Tucci and Miss Honey are ruining something that's way more important than they even realize, and they're
adult children. Fuck them
out of their own. Yeah, that was the last joke in the movie. It was like, your aunt will be waiting for you when we land, and it's like, how's she taking everything? And then Stanley Tucci's like, it's kind of hard to convince a lady that a 50-year-old man is her 6-year-old nephew. And then the fucking
God, what?
Something like that.
That's awful, because it's like a 6-year-old wouldn't think about saying something like that. That's the thing. Like time goes by, but the experience.
It's not even. You're not taking into account that is the trope of an M. Night Shyamalan child character. They're precocious. I know, but and they have their vocabularies are way out of there, and they, you know.
But that's still, yeah. I mean, it's still wildly unrealistic. There's one thing. There's a difference between precocious and being extremely smart for being 6.
Yeah, so that was that movie.
Sounds terrible.
Awful.
Boo.
You've got a friend that does.
Up there with Lady in the Water. Lady in the Water is much better than that.
That movie's bad. That movie was bad too.
But it was, yeah, Lady in the Water was one of those things where everything falls into place and everything gets spelled out.
By the way, Old has a 51% tomato meter score.
51%?
It's way too generous.
Very generous.
Well, it's M. Night Shyamalan.
But it'd be great for a Twilight Zone episode, and then at the end, the twist is that it's an experiment by a pharmaceutical company, and then you end it.
Right. And it's not even an experiment. It's because the thing was that they've been doing it for however many trials they've been doing it. So it's like, it's not an experiment as much as it is, they're lab rats.
Right.
And they're taking people who are terminally ill
and there's a whole
internet.
System.
Yeah, there's a whole system in place.
Which is kind of a clever thing if you can concentrate it into a very short, small story.
They didn't do enough. There wasn't enough, you know. The way they did the explanation was if it was a 30-minute episode, and that's how they're wrapping it up, and you go, shit, okay.
Right.
Wow.
But the whole thing, anything
like,
after after the laboratory reveal is superfluous.
They did this whole part that was supposed to be scary or terrifying, where like the blonde, the nasty family was like there's an old grandma, which was the fucking the doctor's mom, and the doctor's like an older guy, and he's got a trophy wife who's the whole time is only talking about like vain things, and then she was mentioning how she had a calcium deficiency. So then, like, as she's getting older, she's getting more like decrepit and like crippled and shit. And so then she's like hiding in a fucking cave, like a troll,
because she doesn't want to be seen.
Because she doesn't want to be seen. And her daughter, who that's the scene that you're looking at right there when he's looking up like that. Her daughter is trying to climb out of there and then falls and dies. So he's all upset because that's the one who he got pregnant, you know, even though he was only 6 and the daughter was only 6. Well, I guess they in their puberty part of their growth. And so then the mom's pissed off at them about that. So they're coming after the boy and then his sister. And they're both like, ah! Screaming at like this lady who's like all decrepit, and she just keeps like hurting herself and like falling. So then you're hearing like all these snaps and these crackles, and then like, but since everything heals instantly, it's like she falls and breaks her leg, but it heals. It's like snapped and it heals that way. Right. And then she like tries moving again, and like something else snaps in. So then all of a sudden she becomes like this weird, like rickety, fucking... like weird growth, like fucking monster. Yeah. And the whole time they're like backing up into a corner, like, oh, lighting a match and like singing, oh, lighting a match. It's like the whole purpose of that entire sequence was because it was like, well, we got to do something that's kind of like scary or something for the movie.
Right.
Because like in reality, you just walk fucking past the bitch.
Right. You had to have a monster. They had to try to make a monster.
Right.
When it didn't
and they
really
turned
belong.
the Alzheimer's guy going Vern Gagne on everyone. They turned that into a thing. But anyways, that was old. Not good.
Not good. No. Where does it land on your list of M. Night Shyamalan films?
It lands on the list to be forgotten.
It lands on the B side. There's the good ones and then there's the bad ones. There's The Sixth Sense, and then there's
Lady in the Water. Airbender.
Last Airbender.
Yeah. Old is definitely,
and there's Signs.
Yeah.
It's so weird how his movies are just like so far one way or the other.
And honestly,
like,
a lot of
them
them
like Quentin Tarantino, which just he delivers gold all the time.
Yeah. I don't know what his issue is, because like The Visit, I think was, in a weird way, I think The Visit was his masterpiece.
Wow.
Because it was so unexpected, and the payoff is like the all-time great payoff, because it's not some like cheesy twist. It's not some like, it's not something that's like a fantastical or like out of question. It's like a legit, like, stomach dropping out, eerie, creepy reveal.
The twist?
The reveal of The Visit.
Right.
And then on top of that, they have this annoying fucking prick kid in there who's like just the most annoying child of all time. And the whole time you're watching it, you're like, man, I wish someone would shove a fucking shit sandwich in that kid's face. And they actually pay off, and they shove shit in his face, and it was the best. It made the bet for the best end of the movie. From the reveal to the rest of the movie was like just 10 out of 10 perfect.
Wow.
It was perfect.
Wow.
Because the reveal happens, and then it immediately switches everything that happened before it, from being like, wow, that's weird, I wonder what they're getting at, to, oh my god, that's disturbing, holy shit. And then as stuff keeps, you're finding shit out, then all the stuff that was like kind of cheesy before becomes terrifying. Mm-hmm. All the found footage stuff now works, because now you're creeped out, and now you're seeing everything from the eyes of the fucking person with the camera.
Yeah.
So now, you're fantastic. It was fantastic. It's I think that's his masterpiece.
Wow. Okay.
But I don't think he wrote that. I think someone else wrote it, and he was just the director.
Yeah, Unbreakable is my top Shyamalan film.
68% on the tomato meter.
The Visit?
Well, because I think a lot of people didn't like the fucking kids, or they didn't like, whatever, or they maybe they didn't like the twist as much as I did. But I thought
that the one with the old late people? Old people?
Yeah.
The grandparents are watching?
Yeah.
Kids?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Unbreakable's good. Watch Unbreakable.
I've seen that series. I didn't like the last one.
Wait, no, not series. No, Unbreakable. That's just the original film from 2000 or 2001.
No, and Split works because of the reveal at the end where you go, oh man, that was a sequel and I didn't even know it the whole time. So then you just go, it was a good movie and that made it even better.
But the great thing about Unbreakable is that...
What's the name of the last one?
Glass.
Yeah. But the great thing... Did you see Glass?
Yeah.
Okay. So then it's not a... So the great thing about Unbreakable is that when you're watching it, especially if you don't have any expectations, like you don't know if the guy is actually a superhero type of person, or if he's just
a psycho.
Yeah, or if he's just reading too much into shit, or other people are reading too much into shit. You don't really know until the thing happens where he attacks the kidnapper rapist dude. So during the whole movie, it's like he starts learning more about himself, like that he survived the plane or the train crash. That was the big...
the premise, like when he was like pitching that movie, it was essentially like, what if Superman didn't know he was Superman?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and that's what the whole thing.
That was this whole approach to coming up with it.
And if you're watching the movie and you don't know that it's Shyamalan and that there's going to be a twist, and
oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, but it's just if you don't know anything going into the movie other than that you're just watching a movie, it's terrific.
I think
because you don't know what to expect.
I think that when it comes to him, he kind of in like the Spielberg way, like he knocked it out of the park immediately, like Sixth Sense, right? And then Unbreakable was like the follow-up to that, and then like Signs was a big blockbuster.
Yep.
So like those three all of a sudden then made him like the next Spielberg and everything.
Right.
And then he just kind of kept doing him, like The Village and Lady in the Water and so on and so forth. And they all kind of just like, they all slowly, each one is kind of getting worse and worse and worse. But I feel like the reason why he keeps getting jobs, because you just keep wondering, like, how does this guy keep making terrible movies? He keeps getting jobs. Is honestly, I think just the studios or whoever were too stubborn to not cut him, because it's like they wanted to still be right about him being the next Spielberg or whatever.
Right.
It needed to be justified. You know what I mean? Because if he's failing, then they're failing because they're the ones investing in him, right?
Right.
So I think that when his first run happened, he got so many chances because those first three movies were like really like kind of, it was like, oh man, he's up to, like you said, like Quentin Tarantino and stuff. Like he was like going to be the next blockbuster guy, you know? And then it just like each one, it was like, oh, well, he's just kind of slumping. And then finally, I think his original, whoever he was doing like his original films with and stuff kind of got rid of him, because then he came out and did that, I think it was either Blumhouse or A24, whatever The Visit was, where it was like, oh shit,
I didn't
he's
even
just
know
doing
that
a directing job for one of these like low budget horror movies. And then it turns out it was like, oh shit, he's back, man, right on. And then Split happened and everyone's like, yeah, The Visit wasn't bad, I'll go see Split. And then like it was like one of the only movies in recently where he, like, besides The Visit, where he got really killer performance out of someone. Like, 'cause a lot of times he doesn't do that great job of getting actors to act well. And like James McAvoy and fucking Split did a great job.
He did,
He's like crazy and he's like became scary. And so that alone made you go like, man, this is nuts. Like, this is a crazy character. I wonder what's happening. And then the reveal, and then that made everyone go, motherfucker's back.
Yep, there he is.
Back. There he is. All right. And then it's like, well, Glass obviously can't be bad. And then it came out, and then like I never saw it, but that was mostly because it's like,
yeah, I wanted to see it
didn't
because
like it.
I was a big fan of Unbreakable. So then at the end of Split, I was like, fuck yes. And then I heard about, you know, the reviews for Glass, and I was like, okay.
I didn't know if other people liked it. I liked Split, and I don't really like superhero stuff. And so,
well, I don't either.
But Glass was kind of like trying to be like superhero.
yeah.
Unbreakable was not a
Split
superhero
wasn't.
movie.
Neither Unbreakable.
It is,
well,
though.
it is.
But it's very subtle, and
It seemed like
Not really. I mean, the beginning of it's a comic book.
it's like he's Superman.
yeah, but it's not.
Like someone put
I'm
it.
talking about like Marvel. I'm talking about just
Right. It seemed like with Glass they try to go slightly in that
yeah,
direction.
somebody he doesn't lift up a bus, right?
Right, but
They didn't do that in Glass either, but like this the idea of like we're gonna get all these superheroes together.
yeah,
And like
I can see.
But with Unbreakable, it was like there's a scene where he's starting to think that maybe he's a superhero. So he starts lifting weights or whatever, and his son is like adding more to the weights, and he's continuing to lift it up, and it's just a tremendous amount of weight, whatever it is, 500 pounds or whatever that he's able to bench press. But then there's the thing where they tell, like, he goes back to because his son gets in trouble at school or whatever, and then the therapist woman or whatever is like, oh, I remember when you used to go to school here and you almost drowned because you couldn't swim. So he's like, oh, I'm not a superhero because I basically, you know, I almost died trying just being in a pool. But then Samuel L. Jackson's like, no, that's your kryptonite is water. So then it goes back and forth. So then it keeps you wondering what is going to be the payoff at the end.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: the water wins.
Well, but no, he like when he goes to get the kidnapper, fucking rapist or whatever, and they fall out the window, and then they wrestle around in the pool. That's where he almost eats
In
shit.
Glass,
Remind me,
the water wins.
I would say the Glass. So
The
in
water
Gla-
kind of
so
wins,
in
but
Glass,
the kids save him.
Hold on. So
Wait,
in
are you
Glass,
talking
he
about
drowns?
in Glass?
He drowns in Glass. Spoiler alert, everyone.
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it.
They're all dead in Glass,
And then Sarah Paulson is like,
and he dies the worst way. Some military dudes that had them locked up just come out and push him into a little pond and like a little puddle, just drown him in it.
Oh, that's rotten.
Yeah,
That's rotten.
and then, but what's the whole deal with Sarah Paulson? I forgot what the twist with her was. She was a psychiatrist, but really she was running the whole military experiment in the first place or some shit.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
The movie kind of
That's garbage. Boo.
Yeah, once he died, I was like, fuck this movie.
My Shyamalan sucks.
We'll always call you family at the Eagles, where a banquet room can be rented anytime, with a heavy pour and some love in a home-cooked meal. We'll put your plaque on the patio when you die. We'll always call your family at the Eagles. We'll always call your family at the Eagles. We'll always call your family.
Pretty sure he doesn't
We've
come
come
back.
up with-
Does he come back?
We've come up with great shit for movies and shows.
Yeah.
We just need the money.
Well, we've been doing this for over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's a long one. They're gonna have to cut a bunch of shit out.
Yeah.
But it was great being back. It's nice being back from summer break. You know, like we told you guys, we were going on summer vacation. And so we appreciate y'all sticking around for the rerun episodes. Send us emails what you thought about that.
Yeah,
And,
at brute.n.fruit.
At gmail.com. Also, August 21st, Bash at the Berks. That's right. We're hosting a festival, motherfuckers. It's going to be great. You come, you camp, and you party with us.
Mm-hmm.
And
emphasis on cum.
Listeners of the Brute and the Fruit are getting exclusive details about the festival because we know that probably there isn't too many of you out there to take advantage of it. So if you're a listener of the Brute and the Fruit,
empty promises.
If you're a listener of the Brute and the Fruit, if you come to Bash at the Berks, you will use the code word Shyamalan, and that'll get you a free keg cup.
Free keg cup.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
I like
code
that.
word Shyamalan.
We told everyone
shouting Shyamalan.
We told everyone BYOB,
beer.
and that's true. And also bring your own food. Come as if you're prepared to camp. But there will be, on the DL. This is for exclusive Brute and Fruit listeners only. There's going to be some food and there's going to be some booze, but come accordingly. But like we said, to support the show, you come, you tell one of us, Shyamalan, we'll get you a cup for the keg.
Yeah. And how can we see your band? Like, listen to them?
Oh, you go to themoonIsFlat.bandcamp.com. You can also go to the YouTube and search The Moon is Flat. And we have videos on YouTube of some performances. The more you search it on YouTube, I think the more you'll be able to, we'll start beating out some of the flat earth bullshit that comes up before it. But yeah, all of our albums are on Bandcamp and Spotify and YouTube Music and that shit. I like Bandcamp a lot. So I'm a Bandcamp
too. I try to listen to people's music on Spotify, and I can't because it just plays other people's music when I click on their links. I don't understand how it works.
And I have YouTube Music, and that's why I listen to a lot of like library types music, that's out there. But modern music, I like, or bands like of our peers. I like to go to Bandcamp, and I like that kind of setup of things. I like the fact that I can make a release anytime I want to. What about you?
Yeah, you can hear my band Dojos at dojos.bandcamp.com or at dojos.hearnow.com, which will put you to like Google Music and Spotify and all that other bullshit.
Nice. I miss Google Music. Real quick, August 6th at Daryl's Tavern. It's a Friday night. It's at 6:00. It's an early one, but we're playing last.
That is early.
We're going to be with Donna Party and this band called the Sun Tunnels. Mm-hmm. Come out and see us that night. Use the code word Shyamalan, and I'll play whatever song you want me to play for you.
I wore the Moon is Flat t-shirt to the Arlington Street Fair last week. I got a ton of response from strangers.
Really?
It was 3 different ones.
Okay.
There was 3 different things. It was, oh, that's so funny. The Moon is Flat. I like that. I like that. And I said, yeah, it's my buddy's band. It's, okay. And then I'd get another one that was like, people would look at it and they'd be like, fuck, okay. Like,
dude,
they thought I was like
whenever I wear the shirt,
they thought I was a flat earther.
Yeah. Whenever I wear the shirt around family or coworkers or just random strangers, they're always looking at me like I'm some kind of freak.
Yeah, that's what they were doing. They were like, okay, is that what you think that though?
And then they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh, it's a band. And they're like, oh.
Yeah. And then I got a couple responses from people that were like, dude, I'm totally on board. I absolutely agree with you.
I don't get any of those.
I never wear any of our shit, but whenever I tell anyone the band name, or if someone like has seen us play and they come talking to you after the show, they'll just be, a lot of the response I get is like, it's a fucking great name, man.
Yeah, yeah. If they know it's a band.
When they know it's a band, yeah.
And that's kind of the thing that people say, like, oh, that shirt's, I like that shirt. And they're like, yeah, it's my buddy's band. And it's like, oh, that's a great band name. I like that. But then everybody else is just aloof.
Right.
They're like, what?
The one that's really annoying is when we went to
They're like, are we to this point already? Now the moon is flat.
Right.
Yeah,
when we went to the
Earth is flat,
Dowels,
the moon must be flat.
when we went to the Dowels, I remember the band that played before us said, there's a pro basketball player named Kyrie Irvin who like came out as like a flat earther like a few years ago.
Okay.
And they're like, these guys might be friends with Kyrie Irvin or something like that. And I just remember being like, you fucking idiot. Like, because there's a lot of people who've asked like, hey, you don't believe that, do you?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's just a
It's like if I named my band 9/11 was an inside job or
Like, I mean, do you have to ask, like, fucking, you know, Pig Fetus or Cannibal Corpse, like, if they believe in the, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you don't really believe, dying fetus, like, you don't really support dying fetuses.
You don't really support executing fetuses.
Are you? What are you about?
Like, no, I don't. Like, so you're a pro-lifer. Like, what? Oh, fuck. Shit.
And I don't have a band to promote, but I might start doing ASMR. So I just want to put that out.
Well, perfect. Yeah.
Right on. Well, we'll be back. Take care.
God bless.